Hey y'all. Please excuse my lateness. Okay, I know I said at first I was gonna start the stream at like what? 1 o'clock? Actually, I forgot something. Give me 1 second. Pregnant belly. um yeah, I'm sorry y'all. I know I said I was gonna start the stream at 1 o'clock, but let me just walk you through really quickly what happened to me. So I couldn't sleep all last night. Like I woke up, maybe not all last night. I woke up maybe like 4 o'clock in the morning and could not go back to sleep. And then when it got to about, I want to say, what, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm still laying there, wide awake, laying in bed, uncomfortable. Because when you got a big old belly, it's very difficult to get yourself in a position that's super comfortable. Um, and y'all, I could not go back to sleep. I ended up, the video that I'm reacting to right now is very impromptu because this morning I was trying to find something to listen to help me go to sleep or listen to, watch or something. And this video popped up on my stream, on my, not stream, but popped up on my playlist to watch. And I was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting topic. I'm curious to what she's going to say. I was like, oh, I'm curious as to what she's going to say. And I ended up watching it, and I was like, oh, yeah, this definitely something I think we should talk about. Definitely something to talk about. And I got up, made a thumbnail, and then I tried to lay back down. And I was like, you know what? I'll be okay at 1 o'clock. I'll just lay down for a little bit of rest. And then, because by this time it was like 11. It was like 11 o'clock. But once it hit like 11:45, y'all, I was so tired. And I got up. I was like, I need to move this stream because I will not be ready by any means at no 1 o'clock. So I moved the stream to 4. I told Justin, I'm like, hey, Justin, can you wake me up at 3? Okay, can you wake me up at 3? I wake myself up at 3:22, and he's staring in my face smiling. He's sitting there staring in my face smiling. I'm like, nigga. But it's all good. I'm not lying on your name. You know exactly what you did. He was waiting until 3:30 to wake me up. He was like, I'll wake you up at 3:30. Um, even though I wanted to wake up at 3 so I could shower and all that stuff, get myself ready to be in front of the camera. And so I ended up getting up, took a shower, took my little prenatal pill. Now I'm waiting for my food to come. So you might see, no, it's not a you might. You gonna see me eat on camera. I'm gonna tear up them fries. Because fries are one of those things, you can't let those sit at all. You gotta eat those as soon as they get there, or else they're gonna be trash. The burger I can reheat and wait. But I'm gonna eat these fries on camera. But that's why I'm late. That's why I had to push the stream back and all that other nonsense. But we're here. Okay, we're live. We're gonna watch this video. There are you're gonna eat it all on camera, ASMR. I'm not gonna eat no burger on camera because burgers are just too messy. See, if it was like little chicken nuggets or something, or chicken fingers, something that you could just dip and then eat very daintily on camera, I could do that. But not no, that's like eating spaghetti. Okay, I ain't finna be I am not about to be slurping up food on no stream. It ain't happening. No, thank you. Okay, I'll need y'all to know that I don't know how to eat spaghetti properly. But anyways, I also figured out how to get what you guys say onto the camera. I don't have it set up on this scene, but when we get to the video presentation, I figured out how to pull up comments. So we're gonna pull up comments today. Hopefully it goes smooth. Okay, let's see how this widget works. It's been working okay. Little at times, but we'll see. We'll make it work. Let's see. Before I go in, there is something that I want to make very, very clear because after seeing some of this behavior on YouTube, and this is not a new behavior, but it's got to the point where it's very annoying, and I'm not gonna waste my time with this anymore. I'm gonna say what I say, and then if people are too stupid to realize that you're discussing a behavior and that you don't, just because you feel this way about this doesn't mean you don't feel this way about across the board. Look, if I discuss a behavior and I talk about the behavior and maybe the context is black women or maybe the context is black men, right? If I'm discussing a toxic ass behavior, understand it doesn't matter who's committing the behavior. Maybe the context of the video is talking about a black man doing some stupid stuff. Maybe the context is a black woman doing something stupid. Maybe it's a white person. Doesn't matter. If I'm talking about a behavior, it doesn't matter what the context is. Because at the end of the day, it's the behavior. And no matter who is committing the behavior, it's going to look stupid and funny style either way. And so I really get annoyed when you try to have certain conversations and you're reacting to a specific video and folks, you start going in on the behavior. You start going, well, you discuss a behavior, and because it is in context to either a group that they identify with or whatever, then they're like, well, what about black women? Well, what about black men? And they start deflecting the conversation every which way. And it's just like, why do I have to clarify that that it's stupid when black men do it too? Why do I have to clarify that it's stupid when black women do it too? It's to derail those kind of conversations, and to get us off track, and to get us talking about something stupid that's completely off base, has nothing to do with what we talk about. It's a deflection, and it's childish as F. Okay, I'm trying to cut back on my cussing. I probably already cussed. But I'm trying to cut back, y'all. It is childish. It is like little Timmy getting caught eating bubblegum when he's not supposed to eat bubblegum, and then saying, well, Jennifer took the crayons and she has the crayons in her sleeping court, in her whatever children have. It's stupid. Well, what about Jennifer? Well, what about Tommy? Right now we talking about a specific thing. Let's focus on that. If we want to have a conversation later on about Jennifer and what she's doing, we can do that. But right now we talk about Tommy. Okay, right now we talk about Jennifer. So I just hope that we can all, I know the people that really rock with me, that be here all the time, y'all don't do that. This is more so a message for like anybody new. Anybody new that is, coming across my content for the first time and they don't understand or whatever. If I discuss a behavior and I say that behavior is stupid, understand it's stupid no matter who's doing it. Okay? If I say a behavior, I'm talking about the behavior, it's stupid. Don't be like, well, black women do it more. Well, black men do this more. Well, what about what black men do? What about what black women do? You sound goofy and stupid. And you sound like a hurt little bee. You sound like a hurt little bee when you do that. Right? Like, you're trying to derail the conversation because whatever I'm saying is making you uncomfortable. So you want to push the conversation to somebody else where you feel more comfortable because you get to point the finger and be like, no. Ain't doing that. Okay? I will not be doing that. I won't be tolerating it. And, the more you F around, you might find out. Because I might start roasting you on stream. I might start having to roast people when they do that and just letting them be roasted and then calling it a day. Okay, I might just have to start making fun of people and then leaving them at that. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So essentially, Real Talk with Yanni, she was reacting to, this is a Matrix video, because you got someone reacting to somebody, and I'm reacting to all of them. So, and I'm not going to play the whole video. If you want to watch the whole entire video, definitely go to her channel and watch it for yourself. But we about to enter Matrix, okay? I'm reacted to Real Talk with Yanni, reacted to some black guy, I don't know what his channel is called, reacted to Crimson Cure, who is also reacted to somebody. The rabbit hole goes deep. We all reacting to everybody. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Let me see if I can, let me just make sure I can pull everything up on camera again. Let me see. Check my Discord DM. Okay, I'll do that after the stream. All right, y'all see the comment? It's up there. It looks good. Did I freeze? Did I freeze? Justin.
No, you didn't freeze.
I didn't freeze?
No.
Okay, maybe it's just my phone freezing.
Yeah, just your phone.
Okay, because I'm watching, I like to have the stream on my phone. Oh, you can't see it. I like to have the stream on my phone so I could keep an eye on it. It looked like it just stopped. But it's probably just my phone. Okay. What's up, Dayton? What's up? But yeah, we're pulling up comments on the thing. See, hey. What's up? All right, so today we're going to be reacting to Real Talk with Yanni. She's watching a video from, I guess, a passport bro. And then he's watching a video from Crimson Cure. And Crimson Cure is watching a video from some other woman online. I don't know who that is, so I can't even say their name. But let's go ahead and get into it. This opening monologue that she does before she even gets into the video, I think is pretty, she says some ish, okay? All right, let's see.
Her channel.
Let me see. I'm trying to skip through to get to
her
the point.
promotions. Female are single. So marriage in the black community is not priority. Family in the black community is not priority. And for me, it's not about blame. It's not even about shame. It's just culturally speaking, it's not our foundation. So to put the blame on women, I don't feel like that's fair. We don't gatekeep marriage. We gatekeep sex. We gatekeep children. We gatekeep culture, right? But at the end of the day, men also have to uphold these traditional values as well. And they don't.
Okay, so I'm trying to get used to turning my mic off and on while the video's playing. So if I'm delayed a little bit, just give me a second. I'm going to get into the groove of things, right? So I do always find it funny when you have people online that will make blanket statements and make it seem like it's one person's fault over the other. It takes two to tango, okay? It takes two to ruin a community, okay? It is a group effort that we've been doing to literally mess up our community, right? Because you could say, oh, well, you have all these baby mamas out here having babies out of wedlock. Well, who's impregnating them? Do they not have some type of responsibility for who they're going around impregnating? You know, men are not so weak that they see a vagina and they just have to bust in it. It's not like men have self-control too. You know, men have the ability to gatekeep sex as well. I think that I hate that phrase that, you know, men gatekeep sex, when men gatekeep marriage and women gatekeep sex. I'm starting to get a little annoyed with that because we both gatekeep it on both ends, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to have relations with somebody, that other person can deny you, whether it's a woman or a man. Okay, they can deny you. If someone proposes marriage, they can still get denied. All right. And then in that situation, who gatekeeps that marriage? The woman did, because she denied the proposal. So we both have power in that sense. And I think once we realize that we both have power in these situations and we can't, you know, just push the blame and the responsibility onto somebody else, then we can start really having honest conversations and then also start having action behind what we do, you know, having motivation behind how we move through life. Because it don't just take one person to bring a bastard child into the world. It takes two. Okay? It takes women closing their legs, and it takes men not busting up the club. Okay? So, it exactly. Let me see if I could exactly, Dayton. Yeah, like Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey. She shot the homie down. Exactly. She gatekeeped that relationship. Okay? She made it so that marriage was not going to happen. She gatekeeped it. So it's like, I hate when we keep putting these things on, well, women gatekeep this and men gatekeep that, as if the other has no control at all. As if men have no control over telling a woman, no, I'm not going to have sex with you. As if women don't have control saying, no, I'm not going to marry you. Both people are responsible equally in that regard. And as far as the whole cultural thing, I do believe that at a certain point, we did have a culture of family. We had a very strong culture of family and family values, right? And you've seen the deteriorate. Well, I know I've seen the deterioration of family, even in my own family, right? When I was a child, we used to go to family reunions like every other year, if not every year. We would have a family reunion all the time. We don't do those. The last time I've been to a family reunion was like over a decade ago, maybe a decade and a half. I don't even know. I might have been a little child, like not even high school. I don't even think I went to a family reunion while I was in high school. So it's like family in general has been deteriorating over time, and I don't blame just women for that. I don't blame just men for that. That is on all of us for deteriorating the family, And so, slight disagreement there as far as like as far as we don't have that in our past. We do. There was a time where families were very strong, and they took care of each other. They loved each other. All of those things, but because of a lot of different things, and I'm going to just say this right here. I'm not going to sit over here and blame white people for all of it either. Okay. I can understand that certain things were put into our community, certain, ideas were put into our community, but we could have rejected those. Okay. We didn't have to fall victim to those things. We could have ostracized the black people that did, and then kept it moving and kept rebuilding. They destroyed Black Wall Street. They did this. Rebuild. All right. That's something that happens when you're building yourself up. People try to come and tear it down because racism is about a race, and it's about competition. And in this competition, there are no rules. Understand, the world is vicious. The world is absolutely vicious. So I can't necessarily get mad at white people for being vicious in a vicious world. What I can be upset about is us allowing it to happen. Us falling victim to the mind games. Us falling victim to, the deterioration of our culture. Oh, Justin, thank you. Justin brought my food. Justin brought me my food, y'all. Yeah. So, I put it on both men and women in the black community as to why we don't value family the way we should. Okay? Why we don't take care of each other the way we should. And so I agree. You can't put that all on black women. You can't put that all on black men. And I don't want to hear this, well, who has the most blame? Who's to blame the most? Who's to blame the most? You know who does that? You know who does that? Weak people who don't want to solve a problem. We could sit over here and discuss who deserves the most blame, while another community is recognizing a problem and just fixing it, rather than sitting over here debating online about who messed up the most, right? If you're in a company, if you have a company and y'all ran into a problem, do you really want majority of your time being spent discussing who created the problem, who established the problem the most? Hell to the nah. You want to get to the solution. You get into the solution. You're not gonna sit over here and have these stupid conversations about who's to blame the most. It's where can we fix this problem? How do we fix this problem? But I digress.
So it's not, oh, we should put the blame on this person. We should put the blame on that person. It's not, a community takes unity. And if you don't have unity, which starts with family, you don't have anything. And it's not even just the typical relationships that we see in, the man and the woman, but what about the auntie? What about the cousin? What about the grandfather? What about the grandmother? What about the uncle? Nobody gets along anymore. We barely gather anymore. So if family is not the structure, how can we even speak on marriage? It just does not make sense to me. So I'm going to be giving my opinion. I think family is important. I think it's super important because that's what makes you strong. That is where you get your strength, the family structure. And if you don't have that, if you don't have a village backing you, you are very weak. And as a Black community as a whole, doesn't matter, male, female, adult, children, elder, young person, we are weak because we don't have community, we don't have unity, we don't have a village. To blame one person just does not make sense to me because it takes a group effort.
And that's true. The reason why a lot of people feel like they can just treat us any old kind of way is because we don't have a strong bond with each other. We don't protect each other. You can't, okay? You cannot get on anybody's internet and talk greasy and grimy about Jewish people or about, different communities, because they will come together to check yo butt. Excuse me. I'm trying to be saved, y'all, from getting my videos demonetized over cussing. I'm trying so hard. It's very difficult. But yeah, when it comes to competing, because look, that's the whole point of racism, is for a competition. If you can't even get your family household in order, strong family households, how are you going to build wealth? Right? It is well known that the Black community in America, that we have less than 0.5%. They said, I believe it was, I believe they said by 2050 that the net wealth owned by Black people in the United States will be 0. Do you know how pathetic that is? And why do you think that is? Okay? And we can't keep putting it on the white people. We can't keep putting it on white people. I'm sorry. There are too many Black people out here that are being successful, that are working through the system, not sitting around complaining about the system, but making the system work for them, putting themselves in a position where they can make money, where they can take care of their families, where they can do what they need to do. There's too many of them doing that for me to not look at all of us and be like, hey, because even though it's difficult, even though there are things in our way, things that try to hold us back, that doesn't mean you don't push through and make a lane for yourself, But we get into this mindset where we just want to sit around and complain about white people doing this, white people doing that, coon Black people doing this, coon Black people doing that. We get into these conversations so much and we put so much blame on them, as opposed to being like, hey, I recognize that this is what's happening. Okay, I recognize the BS. How do I move better so that I can be successful? And, it does really start with family. Because how do you build wealth in a community? Through family, right? Through family and connection to one's people. You go to a Jewish community, they circulate their dollar, I think it's like 16 times before it goes out into another community. I think it was like 16. It was like very high. The rate that Black people do it, You get $1 and it's into some white person's hands, some Chinese person, some Latina person, some other person's hands almost immediately. You barely touch the dollar. It grazes our hand and then leaves the community. We don't really have that community structure where we are mostly spending our money with each other, mostly building each other up financially, keeping the wealth within our community before we let it trickle out. It's just, those are the things that really build wealth within a community, but we're not doing that. We're not doing that because we don't value the next black person. We don't value the next black person's work. We don't value the next black person's time. And it's very evident in how we are structuring families. Okay? You said, Justin, I was taking money that I was making in China and sending it back home to pay my bills. So it wasn't going into black people's hands either. It was going to pay off debts that I have to white people, but for like college and stuff. But hey, I need to do better too. I'm not just saying that y'all, we need to do better. Okay? And it's to the point where, we're going to be at literally zero wealth, and then wonder why we can't get anything done. And then we're sitting here wondering why. Yeah, we need to overcome the system that we're under, right, Eugene? We can't sit over here and just complain about it and beg the people that are oppressing us to stop. Can you please stop? Can you please stop doing what you're doing? They're not going to stop. They just going to find trickier ways to do it. More insidious ways to do it. But what we need to do is move smarter, move better. And honestly, that does start with having the strong family unit. Okay? Because strong family, strong community, you get to build within that community, and then you get more accumulation of wealth. And then with that wealth comes power, resources, all of that. But we can't do that if we can't even get our house in order. Literally.
And we don't have that. There are too many people within the community that are unhealed, broken. They are dealing with mental health issues that are not addressed, because addressing mental illness within the Black community is taboo. Having sex conversations with our children is taboo. The important things that keep a community strong are things that we as Black people tend to avoid. We have this avoidance type of detachment. If it's not about me, if it doesn't benefit me, it's not my problem. When you look at other communities, that's not the case. They care. The Jews care. Whether you want to acknowledge them as the white Jews, the false Jews, whatever, their community cares. Their community upholds their values. I've seen the Indian community on TikTok. That community upholds their values. So it's weird how when it comes to Black people, we need to blame women, or we even need to blame men. It takes a group effort. It really does. Because I see the toxicity. I tell y'all all the time, if you want to hold a person accountable for the dysfunction that you experienced in your household, I said you need to go to your mother in private. Then you need to go to your father in private. And then you need to come back and ask yourself, did they take accountability or did they get defensive? Did they go off on this tangent about how much they sacrificed? Did they go off about how, so you're calling me a bad parent, you're calling me a bad parent? Neither adult, male or female, is going to take any type of ownership or accountability for their failures. And as a whole, we're never going to get anywhere.
That part, where I pointed the wrong spot, that part. What we have right now on the internet is a lot of folks that are hurt. Okay, they've been traumatized in some way, shape, or form. And rather than going and having a conversation with the people that actually did hurt them and getting some kind of closure and moving on and healing from it, what we tend to do is we get online and we project those qualities that these people have, or the ways that these people that hurt us move, we project those onto everybody else. You know what I'm saying? That's like me going back and thinking about, an abusive relationship I've been in, and then getting online and complaining that black men do this, black men do that, describing the behaviors that this one individual did to me, but putting it on all black men. Or just saying black men, or, something. Well, I didn't say all. Obviously, I don't mean all. But rather than going to the person that is actually victimizing you, that person that's actually harmed you, we'd rather just get online and talk ish to each other. And she's going to bring this up later. It's trauma bonding, which is exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. So a lot of times, like, these people that have these traumas, and they get online and they just use that as their space to just, vent their frustrations, you would be better off going to the person, if it's possible, going to the person and airing out your grievances with them. Because what they did has nothing to do with me. Okay? What your black mother did to you has not a damn thing to do with me. Okay? As a black woman you don't know, that's just on the internet existing. What your black father did to you has not a damn thing to do with Justin, for example, because he's a man. I had to use Justin as a man because he's a man. Has not a damn thing to do with Justin. Okay? Has not a damn thing to do with the black man you see walking down the street. It has, or you can hold it in till you blow up like a real man. Okay, Dibby. But what I'm saying is, deal with the people that cause you that trauma, and stop trying to paint everybody with that brush. Because who does that? Who goes through trauma and then views everybody through that lens of trauma? People that are hurt and not healed. People that are not working through their shit. People who, their stuff. People who have baggage. People who have baggage do that. People who have healed at least to a certain point, not to say that you have to be fully healed to get to this point, but people who have done some healing recognize that the actions of this person is on them. Okay? That person did me wrong. Not these random people that I see out in the internet, or random people I see walking down the street. It's not their fault. It's that individual's fault for what they did to me. And if I've done something to them, it's my fault for what I did to them. Not all black women. But you have a lot of hurt people online that will just cast these blankets over a bunch of people because they haven't healed from their own trauma and they're carrying baggage. All right? And what's funny is that, and I have a video coming out later about Andrew Tate. I actually have 2 videos I want to do. Maybe one is a live stream. I don't know. I think the other one's a live stream. But I do have another video where Andrew Tate talks about baggage. All right? Say what you will about Andrew Tate, but he was on point when he brought up baggage. All right? You walk around with all this baggage, it makes you, first of all, less desirable, right? Less desirable for any kind of relationship. Friendship, romantic relationship, acquaintanceship, all those ships. Makes you very unattractive when you walk around with all that baggage and you just, you can't seem to let go. Can't seem to move on. And so you end up with a lot of people online. They bring their baggage with them. They're sitting on their computer with all their bags and they're thugging online, talking greasy about black men, talking greasy about black women, talking greasy about whoever. And it's like, you need to release yourself from that baggage so that you can heal yourself. Okay? A lot of us are walking around Erykah Badu bag lady. A lot of us. And rather than recognizing that and going to the people that have actually hurt us and dealing with them directly, we'd rather sit online and complain and cast this whole view on all black men, all black women. And that's what people do when they have not healed from their stuff. And so I do think it's fair to ask somebody who hurt you. If you're online complaining about black men, or you're online complaining about black women, it is a fair question to ask who hurt you. I know some people ask that with the purpose of being rude, but it is a valid question nonetheless. If I got online one day and y'all just heard me talking about how, baby fathers ain't ish and they don't take care of their kids and all this other stuff, y'all gonna be like, dang, what did Justice do? Because it's not black men. It would be, what did Justice do? You know what I mean? It wouldn't be what did all these black men do. It would be what one person, because I'm only pregnant with one person's child, and if I'm coming online talking crazy about men not take care of their kids and stuff like, who am I really talking about? That one person. But rather than dealing with that one person, we get online and we try to deal with everybody, even though not everybody is out here doing that. So it is a fair and valid question to ask somebody who hurt you. I get it. Some people ask that to be rude, but just because some people misuse that question for purposes of trying to one up or trying to, be slick, the question in of itself is a valid one that you need to ask yourself. If you're online constantly complaining about black women, constantly complaining about black men, you need to ask yourself who hurt you and deal with that person and heal.
And this is why I have detached myself. It's part of my healing journey, really, truly, from these conversations, these debates. I mean, they're not going anywhere. There's no progress. There's no real solutions. So I just don't see the purpose in having these debates anymore. You either gonna do something about it, or you just gonna keep talking about how we need to do something about it. We should be doing at this point. The conversation has been going on for how long now? We just wasting time. And then let me keep it 1,000% real with you. There's so much chaos in the world right now. The financial industry.
I had a big old curly fry. Give me a second. I wanted to speak on what she just said. As far as dang, what did she say? Sorry, I got pregnancy brain. You gotta give me a second. Let me rewind that, because she said something. I was gonna react to what she said, and then
we're never gonna get anywhere.
Okay. Y'all remember when they, Congress kept trying to pass this whole reparations study? They were, I forget what year this was, but they were like, oh, we're going to study reparations. We're going to study it. When black people have been asking for the United States government to own up on their deal, 40 acres and a mule that they reneged on. It was the actual thing that they were supposed to do. They reneged on it. And Congress was like, we're going to study. We're going to go ahead and study reparations. And those of us with two brain cells to rub together were like, what is there to, like, what do you mean study? We understood that it was a tactic to prolong, a tactic to keep us from actually moving forward. It is a stalling tactic. That's what seems to be happening when it comes to these conversations. Because at some point, we've discussed how messed up, our family structure is and how we need to get back to that. But it's like we keep having these same conversations over and over again. Same conversation about wealth. Same conversation about, building yourself up. Same conversations about building family. Same conversations about this. Same conversation about that. And at a certain point, it became entertainment for folks. It's just funny. It was just a fun conversation to talk about. It was just fun. Fun to talk about how, we've screwed up so much. When do we actually get to the point where we build family? When do we actually get to the point where we start making lifestyle choices that move us in an upward trajectory? When do we start actually doing that? Because if we don't, we're going to look like Congress sitting over here studying reparations. Stalling while our net worth goes to zero.
And this is why I have detached myself. It's part of my healing journey, really, truly, from these conversations, these debates. I mean, they're not going anywhere. There's no progress. There's no real solutions. So I just don't see the purpose in having these debates anymore. You either gonna do something about it, or or you just gonna keep talking about how we need to do something about it. We should be doing at this point. The conversation has been going on for how long now? We just wasting time. And then let me keep it 1,000% real with you. There's so much chaos in the world right now. The financial industry, it's collapsing. The transportation industry, collapsing. The educational system and industry is collapsing. The school system, the higher educational system is collapsing. The medical industry is collapsing. And we still talking about this shit. It don't make sense to me. Our community is weak. How are we preparing our people for all of these collapses? Because what's about to happen is there's going to be a bunch of chaos. A lot of people are going to lose their lives because we did not prepare, because we're online having these debates about passport bros not being able, or black women can't compete with passport bros. Girl, the world is about to collapse, and we still having these stupid low vibrational conversations about base, and it's an ego debate.
And I mean, that's true. That is absolutely true. Me and Justin were talking about this morning, about how, the Chinese yuan are starting to, Justin told me this, how, all these countries are starting to trade in Chinese yuan. And if they stop trading in the US dollar, our dollar will be worthless. Okay? But we not, like, we can't even get past getting our family household in order so that we can fix and work towards preventing and stabilizing ourselves for the things that are going to come down the pipeline. All these other communities are preparing themselves in some way, shape, or form for what is about to happen, right? But we're sitting over here trying to blame each other for ego. Like she said, it's ego. It is fully ego. Even that title of the video that she's reacting to is complete and utter ego. Black women can't compete with passport bros. How is that even a competition? How is you expanding your options to go elsewhere to find a relationship, how is that a competition? I don't get it. I don't understand how that's a competition. It doesn't make sense to me. If you're going overseas to find love and happiness, what does that have to do with the next person? Is it a race to see who can find love and happiness first? Because if that's the case, then you're doing it for all the wrong reasons, and your relationship is going to be trash. You're not in a healed place where you can even have a stable relationship if you're thinking like that, right? Me personally, when it comes to dating out, I personally don't care, right? For me personally, I always said that, I wanted to be with a black man. I want to have children with a black man. I'm doing that right now, even though Justin's real light skinned, and you might question how black he is. I'm just kidding. We're both super light skinned, so we make fun of each other, call each other white all the time. Excuse my humor. But talk about some C women. Clear. Wait. GC, you ain't gotta call us clear. You did not have to call us clear. That's below the belt. Dang. Anyways, I knew for myself that I wanted to have children with a black man. I wanted to have black children. And that was something that was important to me. It was important to me. But I'm not going to put that on everybody. Not everybody has to feel that way. Right? Not everybody has to feel that way. And so, opaque. Okay, now the conversation is going to a whole different place that I didn't want to. This is say clear. Now I'm opaque. Y'all some MFers, okay? Y'all wait till I can't cuss on stream no more to show out. Translucent. Okay, Justin, if I'm translucent, so are you. We're the same color. We're literally the same color, my G. We're the same color. Talk about some translucent. You're translucent. If I'm translucent, so are you. Y'all have seen Justin. Some of y'all have seen Justin. Y'all know he just as light skinned as me. Okay? We both translucent, opaque, and clear. But anyways, I digress. There's a big difference between people that just don't view race in that way, and they go out and they date other races of people and they have family and things like that. Don't really care. Do your thing. Live your life. Me personally, I wanted to be with a black man. I got with a black man. I'm having a black child. So that was something that I personally valued. Not everybody has to value that, and that's fine. But what's happening is, it's not so much, oh, we just want to date out. We just want to expand our options. And I say this, and this is before y'all come in with the whataboutism and all that stuff. Not my people that be here, because y'all already know what it is. I feel that same way. I feel the same way that I feel about divestors after seeing enough content, right? Because at first I didn't see enough content to really know. The same way I feel about divestors is the same way I feel about these passport bros, right? Because it's not so much that they just want to expand their options. They view expanding their options as some kind of punishment to the other side. It's like, well, you black women are doing this, so therefore I'm going to do this. And it's just like, people that are having loving relationships with people outside their race, and it has nothing to do with trying to one-up black women or one-up black men. They're literally just out there living their lives, enjoying their loved ones, and they're not sitting over here dangling interracial relationship as a punishment for the other side. For example, I watched this one YouTuber named Michelle McDaniel. Okay, she has a great channel. My thoughts will probably offend you. I love her. I love her channel. She's hilarious. She does cosplay. She's just I like how she carries herself. She's cool. And she be talking some real ish. She be going in on the fat acceptance and health at every size community. She be going in. I love her. She's in a interracial relationship, right? She has a white, I don't think they're married, but they live together. She's with a white man. But what you don't see is her online talking about how greasy black men are, and the reason why she's with a white man is because black men ain't shit, and ain't stuff, and black men are this and black men are that, and black da 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 da. You don't see her doing that. Right? Because she's not in that interracial relationship for the purpose of pointing the finger at black men and saying, well, this is why I'm not with you. This is why I got me a white man. She's not dangling that white man as some kind of punishment to black men for whatever they've done. Right? But what you find is that divestors and passport bros, all they do online is literally try to use interracial relationship as a punishment for the other side. Right? You modern black women, y'all do this, y'all do that, and that's why we're going overseas and we're leaving y'all asses and da 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 da. Well, I'm gonna go get with a white man because y'all have no power and y'all are defeated and conquered and all. It's like, if you really just want to expand your options just so that you're not limiting yourself, you're not going to be online talking crazy like that. You're literally just going to be out here living your life. And if you find somebody that you love and they happen to not be black, you explore that option. And it's not so much out of ego or trauma, right? Because, and see, I'm so glad me and Justin were watching Desperate Housewives. Because Bree Vandekamp, okay, my little redhead friend, she said something to her son that was very true, right? Because her son, if y'all watch the show, her son has this little hatred of his mother, and he loves to show her how much he hates her. And she looked at him and said, look, the opposite of love is not hatred. The opposite of love is indifference. So you still have feelings, okay? You still going hard in the paint for me. You still have emotional ties there. So if these black men and black women that are divestors and passport bros or whatever the hell, if they were so done, they would be indifferent. They would not be online all emotional, talking greasy about each other. They wouldn't be doing that. There's still emotional trauma and hurt there. There's still an emotional tie to that conversation, and they haven't moved past that. So when they talk about dating interracially, it's out of trauma, it's out of hurt, as opposed to someone that has no issues, no trauma, no, they're just out here saying, hey, maybe I've had a difficult time meeting someone that has the same values as me, that's black. Maybe I need to open my options and be open to dating anybody that has the same value structure as me. They're not at that point. They're still emotionally tied and hurt, because if they weren't, they'd be indifferent. They wouldn't be online talking greasy about each other. Divestors wouldn't be online wishing death upon black men. These passport bros wouldn't be online, talking about how terrible black women are, and, dangling tiny Asian women as, well, they're better than you. They wouldn't be doing that. There's an emotional trauma there. And before anyone does the whataboutism, like I said, it's on both sides. That's why I hate that whataboutism stuff. Because it's like, if I say the divestors, when they do it, and it's so funny, this is the part that's so funny to me. I could get on here and talk about divestors and how silly they look, describing the behavior, right? That behavior of spending so much time online talking about the very thing you supposedly hate. I could discuss that behavior, and people that are passport bros, they'll be like, yeah, those divestors, they this, they that, yeah, you right. But if I make those same statements about that same behavior when it's done in the whole passport bro movement, oh, you just mad. You just mad that we going out and expanding our options. You just mad. First of all, I got my man. I ain't worried about what y'all doing as far as being jealous of that. I'm good. Okay, I'm working on mines. I'm healing. I'm becoming a better person for mines. I got my own family that I'm trying to work through and make sure that we're strong and that we have what we need, and that me and Justin are on the same page and building our bond stronger and stronger. I got mine. When I talk about the behavior, I mean that behavior in and of itself. Doesn't matter who's doing it. Doesn't matter if it's a divestor. Doesn't matter if it's a passport bro. Doesn't matter. Same behavior. But when you go to these communities, it's a bunch of pots calling the kettle black. It's literally what it is. And it's to the point where I try to just laugh it off, because if not, you'll just get annoyed if you don't laugh it off. Let me see. Pull this up. Let me see. There was some women recently that said she gets mad seeing a white woman with a black man, but a black woman with a white man doesn't make her mad. Clown talk. That's clown talk. Absolute clown talk. I don't take people who talk like that seriously. You say something stupid to me like that, I'm okay. I start listening to other things in my brain. Okay?
Who can outdo the next person? The world is in total chaos, but we more concerned about this. It does not make sense to me. Our children, their future, where is it? Do they have one? Because when I look out into the world today, I look at these different industries, they're about to collapse. But we stuck on this though. This is more important to us because it's egotistical. We are an egotistical driven community, and this is why I had to detach. I love Black people. I really do. But everything we do, we tend to do it out of ego, not out of love, not out of tradition, not out of culture, just pure ego. Whatever makes us feel comfortable, whatever will mask that hurt that we may have, whatever feeds those addictions, that instant gratification, we'll take it. We don't really love each other though. How can we say we do? How? So Black femicide is real, and that's a issue within itself. And I'm not really including.
Two things. I agree. I don't disagree with that. They are a hate group. And that is a distinction that I will make, right? You know, I haven't heard passport bros talk about how they want black women to unalive themselves or anything like that. I haven't seen that. Maybe it's out there, but I haven't seen that. That is a distinction that I will make. Okay? I have heard divestors, however, say all sorts of evil things as far as like wishing, you know, wishing death and trauma and hurt and things like that. That is a distinction. But when it comes to dangling interracial relationships as some kind of punishment, both sides do that. And then she brings up black femicide. Look, y'all need to start realizing that we can't put black people above humanity, right? We can't expect black people to act outside of humanity, right? And humanity isn't always beautiful. It isn't always sunshine and roses. Some parts of humanity are evil, disgusting, just not qualities that we really would hope to have in humanity, but it is, right? So when you bring up black femicide, like, do y'all realize that white men kill white women at an alarming rate as well? Is there some kind of white femicide conversation happening? No. Is there some kind of white on white crime conversation happening? No. It's like we can't try to make ourselves as black people hold us on a higher pedestal above human nature. Okay? Now, does that mean we should just stop trying to better ourselves? Absolutely not. But when we start putting racial monikers on certain things, it makes it seem like it's a black issue when really it's a human nature issue. White men kill white women at a very alarming rate. If you watch 48 Hours Later or any of these other real life mystery shows, you will find that majority of these stories are about white men and white women. Right? They kill each other on a very high rate. But they're not going around talking about white femicide. Okay? So we can't keep putting it on a racial thing, because it has nothing to do with race. It has to do with the human condition. But if we keep putting it on race, then we're being unfair to ourselves as people. We're not above human nature. Okay? We're not above human nature. Crimes are committed in the same community. White people are more likely to die at the hands of another white person. Black people more likely to die at the hands of another black person. Latino, all that stuff. Asian, all of that. It's pretty much across the board. So that's something that we as black people, we need to stop doing. That was a psychological warfare that was put against us that we need to really detach ourselves from, so that we could actually start fixing certain problems. Okay? And that's not to say that black women dying at the hands of black men isn't a problem. Anytime you have a situation like that, it's a problem. But it's not a black problem, right? It's a human nature problem that needs to be fixed, I would say, across the board. But I digress. I just want to say that. I hate when people bring up black on black crime and black femicide, black this, black that. It's not a black thing. It's a human nature thing, because white people do it to themselves as well. But you don't hear them saying white on white crime or white femicide. You don't hear that. Okay? Because it's just called crime. It's just called murder. It's just, they just call it what it is and deal with it from there.
That in this, but you kind of have to, because it's a part of our community. It's a huge part of our community. It's affecting our children. They're seeing the violence. They're losing mothers, sisters, cousins, aunties, sisters, daughters. So we have to make that and include that in this conversation as well, because it's a huge chunk of the issues within our community. So I'm going to give my opinion on this. I've been avoiding this type of content because I needed a break. Like I don't see the progress. I don't. And to be honest, this conversation is now for me is transitioning into the healed versus the unhealed. That's what it's transitioning into. The wicked and the ones with integrity. That's what it's transitioning into. And that's what this conversation is going to be about. The unhealed versus the healed. What side are you going to be on? Because you're about to get left behind. Because the healed or the healing, the people that are really truly doing the work on themselves, they're going to find their happiness. They're going to find their peace. They're going to be able to take care of their family. They're going to make sure that their kids are doing well in life. They're going to make sure they're good. But as a community, I wouldn't rely on it because there's too many unhealed individuals walking around projecting their trauma, their insecurities, their doubt, their fear-mongering you into believing certain things, and it's keeping you stuck, the community stuck. It doesn't have any growth. You're not able to reach any real milestones while being attached to the community because a lot of things is just done out of ego. People come on here to have these discussions for money. Let's be real, just to put money in their bank account, and they're cool with that. They don't care about the long-term effects.
And that's true. That's true. A lot of times it's just, when it comes to podcasts, when it comes to, YouTube, we're here to make money, right? I'm not going to sit over here and lie to y'all. One of my goals is to make money off of YouTube, right? Now, certain things I'm not going to do for the sake of $1. It's just not that deep for me. I'm not going to pretend to agree with something and I really don't, or, engage in toxic, low vibrational behaviors to get money off of YouTube. I'm not going to do that. But make no mistake, unless your channel is not monetized by your own choice, like you've hit all the marks to be monetized, you could get monetized, but you go out of your way not to monetize your channel. Unless you're doing that, all of us are on here to make some money. Okay? All of us. All your black manosphere, all your divestors, all your people in between, all your Abra and Preach type people, everyone that is on here making content on YouTube and they have a monetized channel, they are making those content for money. And what happens is, what you see happen is, people, they'll try a bunch of different things and they'll test different types of content. And the ones that make the most, get the most views, make the most money, they'll lean into it, right? They'll lean into that type of content because it's making them money. And so it becomes a situation where it's hard to say that they want to fix the problem because their whole bread and butter is from having the problem in the first place. Because if your whole thing is let's say your whole channel is about talking about fixing air pollution, right? We're just every video, every live stream is about fixing air pollution, and people are sending you money to talk about air pollution. But then air pollution gets solved. We have the cleanest air we've had since Jurassic Park. Not Jurassic Park, but you know what I mean. Dinosaurs and stuff. We have the cleanest air since then. And now, can you get on there and talk about air pollution? No, you got to talk about something else. And maybe the audience that you have accumulated, they don't want to hear what you have to talk about that. They don't, there's a vested interest in there still being a problem. Because if there's still a problem, you can keep making the same videos over and over again and getting paid off of it. So make no mistake, folks on here for YouTube, they're here to make money. That's the number one goal. Okay, now if they have an other motive of helping out or doing some kind of good, that comes secondary to them making some money. Let's just keep it buck.
So let's get into it. Thank you. Is it Themis? Why keep talking about it? If it's not, go do something in circles. It's the same conversation. It's not about gender no more. Because if you are a woman and you're going through the process of changing, you're not going to entertain people that are not doing what you need them to do for yourself. You're not. You're going to drop them. You're going to leave them where they are. And that may mean you blocking family, not talking to them because they're toxic. It is what it is. You're not going to keep lingering around. You're not going to keep subjecting your children to that toxicity and dysfunction because you don't want them to repeat the cycle. You're trying to break it. So you're not going to be around them like that. You're not going to entertain people like that. You don't want those people around you. You really don't. And I'm very fed up. I don't understand how Black people can keep coming on here having these conversations. I'm like, are y'all not bored? It's not even entertaining anymore. It's not. It you know what it's turned into? Trauma bonding. And you know what? I could take 1,000% accountability and say, when it came to some of my content, and this is where I, as a content creator, I'm about to make the necessary changes within myself. I created some content on my platform that was trauma bonded. I'm not doing that no more moving forward. We're not here to trauma bond. We're here to make improvement. Now, listen.
All right. So that was another point that I want to talk about. That I mentioned earlier that she brought this up. A lot of these conversations are trauma bonding, whether you want to admit it or not. Okay, we got a chat room full of people talking about how terrible Black women are. We got a chat room full of people talking about how terrible Black men are. You're literally just trauma bonding with each other over whatever experiences you've had in your personal life that makes you feel that way about Black men or about Black women. It is trauma bonding. And good for her for recognizing that she's done that. That shows a part of character, when people are able to hold themselves accountable for things that they've done and then try to make differences moving forward. But a lot of the content online is literally just that. And what's funny is that, and you'll hear this a lot in like the manosphere and probably in the divestor or woman sphere too, but I've seen it very frequently within the manosphere. Is that, someone will say, the manosphere is about trashing women, bashing women, right? They'll say that. No, it's about uplifting Black men, or not just Black men, but men in general. It's about us being better versions of ourselves. But when you actually look at majority of the content, and be honest, okay? Is majority of the content about getting your finances together, eating better, being healthier, healing from your baggage, all these different things? Is it really about taking care of yourself and being a better version of yourself? Is that what majority of that content is? Or is it trauma bonding? Over different situations, you'll have YouTubers that'll bring up videos of women acting crazy, and then everyone in the chat is trauma bonding over how crazy women are, or laughing about how crazy women are. which is it? Because if you bring that up and you say, oh, manosphere is all about bashing women, and you say, no, it's about making yourself better as a man, really ask yourself, am I being honest? Am I being intellectually honest right now? Is the content I watch really about bettering myself? Or is it about pointing at modern women and talking about how terrible their behavior is? And that's not to say that there isn't content out there that does talk about bettering yourself. I know Duke and Don, he talks about getting into tech because he's a programmer. He talks about getting into programming and tech. That's good. There's some that talk about fitness. That's good. Some talk about finances. That's good. But what percentage of that conversation is actually those things versus the rest of it, which is trauma bonding over bad behavior from women, airing out your inner traumas? You know what I mean? So, and that's just, we need to be honest about it. Like, just be honest about it. You don't have to use the 5 videos you watched as cover for the thousands of videos you watched that were just trauma bonded or just entertainment. Be honest about it. That's all.
I can be worldly and spiritual at the same time. Meaning I know how to be grounded. I know that I have to be present in the moment, right? So I can entertain some mess. I can. But if the purpose isn't to grow, if the purpose isn't to be better and become better, count me out. I don't want to talk about it. Ain't nothing to talk about. It's just another distraction to keep you from doing what you need to do for yourself. It's just another distraction. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. So again, you guys, I'm going to navigate this live to
shameless plug here, right? That's one of the things that I really like about Jason Black, because I listen to him occasionally now, because I'm out here trying to, do things for myself and better myself and things like that. But I remember when I was in China, I was on break and I was listening to him speak. And one of the things that he said that was very, very interesting to me, and is the reason why I hold him in a higher esteem than a lot of other channels, is because he had a caller call in. And I remember this very vividly. He had a caller call in and he was like, yeah, Jason, I've been listening to you for years and I just love your channel. And Jason was like, hold up. You say you've been listening to me for years. What have you done? What have you done in your life since you've been listening to me? You say you've been listening to me this whole time. What exactly have you done? What work have you put in? What changes have you made? How have you bettered yourself during these times where you just listening to me? And he went into this whole spiel about how it doesn't benefit anyone for you to just sit and watch him all the time. He doesn't take that as a compliment. He doesn't take that as a compliment because his goal is to put a battery in each and every one of our backs who listens to him. Put a battery in your back and then you go out there and you produce. That's the word he loves to say, and he says like that, produce. Okay? So if you go over there kikiing, talking about you listen to him for years and all sorts of stuff, he gonna look at you stupid unless you've done something. What have you done with the message? Because it helps no one if we're all just sitting here tuning in every week to the same conversation over and over again and not actually bettering ourselves and doing better. But you won't hear a lot of these content creators out here say that because they want you to tune in every week. They don't want you to grow. They don't want you to be better. They want you to be addicted to that ego boost, that, and endorphins or whatever, oxytocin, I don't know, whatever hormones your brain releases, dopamine. When you listen to their content, they want you to get addicted to that so that you come back every week, sending super chats, doing this, doing that. It's not so much about helping you get yourself to a place where you no longer need to watch, right? I got to a point where I don't need to watch Jason Black like that no more. Because he's giving me the message. I recognize it. I can see these things happening. I don't need him to tell me it's happening. Because he has 2 channels. He has one that's about relationships, one that's about politics. I don't need him to explain everything to me now. Because after listening to him enough, I got the logic, the way to discern and understand. I picked that up. And now I can go out into the world and I see some BS and I recognize it as BS. I don't need Jason to tell me it's BS. I don't need to tune in to the next broadcast to let me find out if what I saw in the news was BS. He's going to tell me. He's going to break it down for me. No. And he will be the first one to call you out if you call onto his show with some stupid stuff talking about, I've been watching you for years. What have you done? What have you actually done? It's supposed to be a little roller coaster. You get off the ride and you don't get back on. Maybe occasionally you come and you look at the ride and be like, oh, that was a nice ride. And then you move on about your day and you start doing better for yourself. But a lot of these content creators won't actually tell you that. They just want you to tune in. Okay? They're not really about you fixing you.
Today, with the utmost respect for the individuals in this video, I'm not creating this live for hate. Please don't send any hate to this woman or any of the people in this video. We are having an adult conversation with emotional intelligence. We're going to respect the other person's opinion and keep it at that. We don't have to shade. We don't have to shame. We don't have to throw insults. That's not why I'm making this live. So try to be respectful. It's really time for Black people to do better, be better, and elevate. So if you feel like this video may trigger you, go ahead and log out.
Make sure y'all hitting that bell notification that way y'all know what I'm uploading, and hit the like button because it helps with the algorithm. It helps me reach a broader audience. Also, if you like the music that you hear,
y'all see the Matrix going on? You got me reacting to Yanni, reacting to this guy who's reacted to Crimson Cure, who's also going to react to somebody. It's a Matrix over here, y'all.
the DistroKid link is in the description. Support your boy, support the music. We are almost at 20K, just hit 19,000 the other night. All right, let's get it. Okay, so the Crimson Cure. Y'all know I love Crimson Cure. Shout out to Crimson Cure, bro. Love her content. Please subscribe to her channel. She is going to discuss why women, particularly Black women, cannot compete with passport bros. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it.
So, what we talking about? Y'all hyenas out here that's getting mad at the passport bros. You can't compete with them. We're starting to see an uptick of Black women wanting to compete now with passport bros. And we can get our passports too, and we can get. I got a real quick clip to share with y'all, and then we're gonna come back and cook. So let me go ahead. Let me share my screen, and here we go.
All of these women saying they can get their passports too. I don't think they realize how crazy foreign men are. Like, you will get your head popped off if you come at your husband sideways. So if you're asking, like, can you get ran through? Sure, that's easy. The shit you do here in the States and how horribly you treat men, that won't fly overseas. So good luck with that.
First of all, shout out to Gail Nelson for that, yo. For real. For real. She's the reason why I kind of came across this and wanted to react to this. So shout out to Gail Nelson. Let's keep it moving. Subscribe to her channel as well.
So I'm going to stop sharing that. And she's absolutely right. See, it's not so much that the foreign men are crazy. It's just that even foreign men here in America, who live here in America, they have a value system. They have a culture. Okay? And Black women aren't going to disrupt it. Now, the reason why that lady on the clip is saying what she's saying, which I agree with 100%, you're going to get your head popped off, the head poppers. Okay? These men gonna be number one head poppers around here dealing with you. Okay? This is why the vast majority of Black women cannot compete with the passport bros, and it's stupid to even say so because nobody actually is checking for, coming for, looking for, trying to marry, trying to scoop up Black women in mass. Nope. To be their wives and to integrate them into their culture and in their community.
Okay, so there was a lot said there, like a lot. There was a lot said there. First and foremost, I think that Black people in general should have been had their passports, been traveling for plenty of reasons, right? You see the world, you realize that a lot of these things that you're spoon-fed as an American is BS. You find that the people that you hear all these things about are BS. Because the thing that happens is when you're not well traveled, the news can lie to you and tell you anything. And you'll have to believe it because you don't know what's going on outside the United States. Hell, some of us don't even know what's going on outside of our state, outside of our little city or borough if you're in, New York. So, I don't see an issue with Black women getting their passports and traveling. I don't see an issue with Black men doing it. I think that it's a positive thing for us to travel and see the world because that will help us develop our understanding of the world and how to move better and different cultures and all these different things. So as far as like traveling, all Black people should be doing that, right? All Black people should be doing that. Traveling, seeing the world, figuring out what's what, and not just allowing anybody to just tell us any old thing. Go see for yourself. All right? And as y'all know, most of y'all know, I lived in China for almost 3 years. And the amount of knowledge that I gained from that experience was astronomical. I got to meet people from literally all over the world. Because the foreign community is literally not just Americans. It's people from the UK, it's people from Australia, people from here, people from there. Different places in Africa. You learn so much when you step outside of your country and you interact with people all over the world. Your understanding of things gets a lot better. And people can't lie to you and feed you no BS because you've seen it with your own two eyes. So I don't think that should be a competition to get our passports faster. Like, oh, I'm going to get my passport for this Black man next to me. Let me see if I can get to the door of the freaking office, the DMV office, so I can apply for my passport before he does. It's not a competition. And to view it as such is weird. Right? Anyone who views having a passport as a competition is weird. Because we all should have our passports. If we're, legally able to. You haven't committed any felonies, you could get your passport. And I think you could go through with some kind of legal thing to get your passport if you do have a felony. I don't know too much about that legal stuff because that's not my lived experience, right? I was able to just go and get my passport. But I digress. Traveling around the world is something that we should do. Period. Has nothing to do with what's between your legs. Has everything to do with expanding this. And, me personally, I didn't go live across seas for a relationship. I didn't do that. I literally went to go get experience and, live a different lifestyle and, see the world and travel and things like that. That's the reason why I got my passport. I moved to China to see what was going on out there and just, live life and learn. But as far as people seeing it as a competition is just stupid to me. Okay. And then another thing that was brought up was, Black women with the way we, like I said, this blanket that is cast upon all of us black women about how our attitude is, how we don't know how to talk to people and things like that. That blanket that has been cast all over us, saying that, oh, well, if you go to these different cultures, the men over there are just going to pop you in your face for talking a certain way, for being a certain way. And I mean, you can get that anywhere, not just overseas. You can get that here from foundational black American men. They'll still pop you in your face as a woman. Like, you can get that work from anybody, but it doesn't make it right. And see, the whole thing is, it seems like Crimson Cure was okay with that. Okay with the whole concept of you verbally say something, the man can just slap you in your face and keep it moving. Me personally, when it comes to physical violence, I don't agree with physical violence. You know what I mean? Over words. I think that we should be at a point where if someone is popping off at the mouth, that we should be able to either recognize that person is never going to change and then just stop dealing with them, or after that person is calmed down, have a very honest conversation with them about it, right? So, when it comes to hitting women and things like that, or hitting men, I never agree with that, right? Like, the only time I agree with violence is if you meet violence with violence, right? If your lady is over here slapping you up, you should be able to defend yourself. I agree with that. But if she's talking grimy, talking slick, that's the grounds to be violent, physically violent? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But if someone is being already initiate physical violence with you, you have to protect yourself as a human being. You have to protect yourself. So I'm not going to pedestalize communities where physical violence against women is okay. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, if there was a community that pedestalized physical violence against men, I wouldn't rock with that either. We kind of have that over here. We have that in America for the most part. We pretty much have that in America for the most part, where women are, pedestalized for being violent against men. I don't like that either. It's both stupid. It's unproductive on both sides, and it's disrespectful to the human experience by doing that. So what you have is it seems like Crimson Cure is pedestalizing, these communities of men that beat their women into submission. And I can't rock with that. I mean, I know she's Muslim, right? I believe she's a Muslim woman, and in the Quran they have certain things where they talk about that type of behavior is commonplace. Okay? The physical violence is commonplace within the Quran, from my understanding. I'm not going to pedestalize that because it's toxic. It's not how you treat people. You don't treat people with violence. You don't do that. So, like I said, both ways. I don't pedestalize violence against men. I don't pedestalize violence against women. I don't do it. So to have this conversation and to hold these men up into such a high esteem, if you're under the mentality that you could just go around beating your wife when she messed up, I have an issue with that. Okay? I have an issue with that. That's not a healthy relationship. That's not a healthy relationship for either party involved. And I'm not going to be sitting over here fawning over a man that it is in his religion or his culture to beat me if I mess up. Like, absolutely not. Okay? Just like I'm not going to be over here saying you go girl for a girl that slaps up her man when he does something or says something or whatever. I'm not, either way, not doing it. So, this whole conversation is so weird to me. The whole idea of traveling to find marriage and things like that is just kind of weird to me. I would think that you would travel, and then if you meet somebody along your travels that has the same values as you and all these other things, then you would make a relationship happen. You would see if it works out and things like that. But this whole, I'm going to Taiwan or I'm going to these different countries because I'm going to go find my wife over there. Like, it's a little weird to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I just find that a little weird for anybody that does it. If women are going over there, I'm going to find me a husband over here. It's a little weird. Like, it just sounds weird to me. Travel, I feel like travel has intrinsic value. It doesn't have to be associated with getting in a relationship. You can get a relationship anywhere.
Now, I warned you guys that you were going to be triggered. I warned you. I said, you're going to be triggered. I said, you're going to be triggered. Okay? It don't get better. So if you took this sample and you're like, oh my God, this is too much. This is too much. I can't do it. I can't. Go ahead and log out, sis. It's okay. Come back. Come back later. But I wanted to say this. I don't know why. To be fair, because I saw this comment a lot under this video. I saw a lot of men saying it's Western women. It's not just Black women. Okay, it's Western women. It's Western women.
That's true. White dudes are having the same conversation about white women. 18th letter. I don't know why YouTube is hiding your comments, but I see them over here. What's cool about Twidget is that when you post something on here, it pops up. It doesn't delete. So even if YouTube is hiding the comment, I can still see it. And yeah, I actually move this up. I had made a video previously, like over a year ago, where it was talking about girl code and all this other stuff and the exploitation. And I did tag Yanni in that video. I tagged Yanni and I tagged Cynthia G. I tagged both of them because I was like, y'all really be out here, saying a bunch of stuff that is literally exploiting Black women and, exploiting the traumas of Black women for personal gain. I did tag her in that video. For me, the way I see it is, even if there's someone on the internet that I don't particularly like, if they say something that's true and factual, I'm not going to say I don't agree just because I don't like this person or because I disagree with other things that they've said. I'm not going to do that. That's stupid, right? For example, I love bringing this example up because I am not a fan of no Candace Owens. I do not like that woman. I find her like grifty as hell. I do not care for that woman. But every now and again, she will say something that I agree with wholeheartedly. And I'm not going to pretend like I disagree because I don't like this person, right? And that's not to say that I don't like Yanni. I'm indifferent. I don't really watch her content like that. I'm indifferent. I don't have enough emotion there to be like, I dislike this woman. But I know I've tagged her in a video talking about the exploitation of Black women and all of that. So I am aware. However, in this video, she's saying a lot of things that I do agree with, right? Some things I don't, some things I do. And I'm always going to approach a situation based on the logic and the validity of what is said. Not so much the messenger, unless it's a conversation about, unless the conversation is about grifting. Now, if I was going to make a conversation about grifting, then that would be different. I'll be pointing out all the, switch ups and all of that. I'll point that out if I was a conversation about grifting. But this is a conversation about what is being said in the video. And whether or not she truly believes these things and all this other stuff, that's on her. But if you say something that's true, it's an opportunity for us to all learn and grow and be better and stuff like that, right? Let me see. So yeah, I do like this little Twidget thing because sometimes when y'all send comments and things like that, I don't get to really see them all because it'll delete Even on OBS, it'll delete. Like if the comment is removed on YouTube, or YouTube just automatically just doesn't show the comment, because that's another thing that happens. Sometimes we'll get accused of we'll get accused of deleting comments, but really it was Google. Google deleted it before we could even see it. But with this Twidget thing, I can still see all the comments. So even if it gets deleted by YouTube, I can still see it. So I think that's pretty cool. Just, just throw that out there. But yeah.
So to be fair, but she's zeroing in on just Black women. Okay. Now, this is my thing. When you don't know how to treat people, it doesn't matter if it's a man or not. If you don't have this underlying respect for a man, it doesn't matter what race, he's not going to respect you. People are not going to respect you. So my thing is, her angle really comes from the approach of oppression. Women globally are oppressed. So to compare an American woman or a Western woman to women outside the US and other cultures, a lot of them don't have that many options.
And that's a fair point to bring up, right? That's a fair point to bring up. Not every woman in the world has the same access to education, jobs, resources, the way that we do in the United States, right? I'll say United States in particular. As a woman, you can go get a higher education, you can go get a good job, you can fend for yourself. There really isn't much holding us back from being self-actualized, right? So to compare women that have access to all these different resources and development and opportunity, to try to compare that to a woman that either lives in absolute poverty, because understand that there's a difference between the poverty that we have in the United States versus the poverty in third world countries, right? You'll see somebody living in poverty and they'll still have an iPhone. They'll still have running water, but they'll still be impoverished in the United States. Whereas you go over to a third world country or an underdeveloped country, and their poverty is you don't have running water. Okay, you're washing your butt in the river, right? So it's different. You really can't compare the two. So whereas you find a woman over here that loves, cherishes, values you, y'all rock well together, you have the same value system, y'all really connect and bond, is going to be different than finding a relationship in a country where the women there are oppressed, where the poverty is absolute, because there's a power dynamic there that makes the relationship inherently predatory, right? It's inherently predatory, because if I don't have the resources or the opportunity to do for self, and I have to rely on men, or I have to rely on, getting into a relationship, or I have to try, if I have to do those things to try and get out of this absolute poverty, or this, system where I have no rights, it's inherently going to be predatory. The behavior isn't going to be as genuine, right? Because it's if you take somebody that has to do this, or else, in that culture, she would get stoned to death, or, she'll get beat, or, different things like that. Like, there's a lot of different things going against to, like, force you into that mold, versus us in the Western world, where we don't really have that so much. We don't have that at all, actually. We're pretty blessed over here as women. Very blessed, right? That we can do for self and things like that. We're very blessed to have those opportunities for ourselves. The women over there don't necessarily have that. So the relationships are going to be a little predatory, and you can't really compare women in that dire situation to women that are not in that dire situation, right? I hope that makes sense. I really do. I'm trying to find another example, right? So it's like trying to compare someone that hasn't eaten for weeks to someone that just ate a big old bucket of fried chicken right before you're comparing the two. You can't. You can't compare someone that's had a full belly their entire life to someone that has had to wait days, possibly weeks between each meal. You can't compare the two because one is living under a very dire situation. The other one is more blessed in that sense. So you can't really compare the two.
They don't have that many choices. They don't have that many opportunities. Some of them don't even have women's rights still to this day. So it's weird that she has this mindset, and it's internalized misogyny simply being because she thinks that getting your head knocked off is acceptable. And I don't agree with that. So I think if you are respecting yourself and you extend,
excuse me, I do want to make a clear distinction. She said it's misogyny for a man to be able to beat a woman, right? Let's not confuse that with masculinity, okay? Misogyny is literally the hatred of women, just like misandry is literally the hatred of men. When you bring up misogyny, because sometimes people like to overlap those two words, misogyny and masculinity, not the same thing, okay? So the idea of a man being able to beat up on a woman, that is misogyny. Okay, but that is not masculinity, right? Because a masculine man is not going toe to toe with no woman. He's not beating on no woman. He's not putting his hands on no woman. Masculine men protect women, right? Protect the women under his covering. You know what I mean? Justin ain't going around here beating on me. He protects me. That is his masculine role, protecting. Okay, so I just want to make sure we make that distinction. Because what she described is misogyny, but that's not masculinity. Two different things. I love masculinity. Okay? Masculinity is what makes the world go round. You will never hear me talk about how much I don't, because, the whole term toxic masculinity. First of all, toxic masculinity is not masculinity at all. Okay? When you bring up toxic masculinity, that is not a masculine man. That is a man operating in a feminine mindset. When you start having toxic masculine behavior, it's not a masculine behavior. Masculinity is a very beautiful thing. Okay, we need masculine and feminine to keep the world going round. They're both beautiful and harmonious when put in interaction with each other. It's beautiful, beautiful dance. But I digress. I just want to make sure I put that out there.
In that respect to other people, I don't see how you would not be able to seek outside of the Black community. The issue with Black women not being chosen isn't because we're not wanting to be, or we're not being seen as an option to be chosen. We're really not putting ourselves out there to be seen, because we have dedicated a lot of our time, resources, beauty, youth on trying to get a group of men that are not interested in marriage. They're not interested in marriage.
Now, I do have pushback for this part, right? I will agree that most Black women are seeking Black men. That's just a cultural thing. Black people in general are going to seek other Black people. White people in general are going to seek other white people. X, Y, on and so forth. Asian people, Latino people, they're normally going to seek out those within their own community. That's just human nature. That just is what it is, right? So it's a small percentage of us that actually do date out and, entertain or will have a long-term lasting relationship with somebody that is not Black. But majority of us seek Black relationships if you're a Black person. That's just human nature. It is what it is. I will give some pushback though to the idea that, we've been, catering ourselves to men that don't value marriage. I will give some pushback to that because I don't think that's black men across the board. The women that are doing that are curating their image for the men within the community that are like that. Not just black men in whole. See, this is where that conversation of, open your options gets stupid, because it's like you're saying, basically what she's insinuating is that we've been focusing so much on getting with black men, but black men in general just don't care about marriage. No, it's a specific group of black men that don't care about marriage, that don't care about family. And unfortunately, a specific group of black women have been curating their image, curating their lifestyle for those black men that don't believe in marriage. That subsect of black men that don't believe in marriage, right? So that's the pushback that I would have for that. It's not just that all black men don't, or majority of black men just don't. I don't subscribe to that. But what we have is just like, we as a community don't really know what we want, and we're not being willing enough to branch out and find other black people that have those same value structures that we have. You know what I mean? We'd rather sit online and listen to people tell us that what we're looking for doesn't exist. And so I'll agree with, we're not putting ourselves out there. I wouldn't say for other cultures of men. I mean, we're not doing that either, but that's just what everyone does. But what you have here, and I hope I'm being clear, is you'll have women and men that do want marriage, that do want children, that do want these things. But they get on the internet and they listen to fear mongers. They listen to people that have been hurt. And those people that they're listening to convince them that who they're looking for simply does not exist. Right? You listen to the black women over in the women's sphere and stuff like that, they will convince you that good black men don't exist. If you go over there into the passport bros or whatever community, they will try to convince you that good black women don't exist. So why are you even trying? When in fact, on both sides of the aisle, there are good black men and good black women that have the same value structures, that value family, but we've allowed hurt, bitter people to convince us that they don't exist. So I will agree that we don't put ourselves out there for the person that is for us, because we've allowed hurt, bitter people to convince us that they simply do not exist. I hope that makes sense. So I do give a little pushback to what she said there, because she's right, but she's wrong at the same time. We're not putting ourselves out there for the people that are for us.
They're not even interested in family. They're not. And so it's weird that this is her approach when it comes to this conversation. First of all, it's not a competition to have happiness. It's not a competition for a black man to have happiness, and it's not a competition for a black woman to have happiness. Unhealed people who do things out of revenge, spitefulness, and bitterness, they see this as an opportunity to compete, which is weird. Because honestly, people that are actually out here living their lives in the way that they want, and they're getting and receiving the things that they want from it, we don't care about what you're doing. We don't care about what the next person is doing. We don't care about what the girl down the street is doing. We actually have our happiness within ourselves. So if black women are actually living their lives in the way that they choose, that they see fit, you're getting what you want out of it, right? This video just should not bother you. It should not. It should not bother you at all, because you're getting what you want out of it. So I think it's weird that, hold on, it's not triggering. It says something that could change or improve the community. You know what they doing? They getting on a boat, going across sea to find something better in another man's culture because they ruined their own culture, sold out their own culture, sold out their own people for money, greed, materialism. And we see that every day. We see it in the rappers. We even see it in the athletes. We see it in the Black leaders. So it's interesting how this is our fault, as if men have not been leading us this entire time because we have been oppressed this entire time by men.
Okay. So essentially what she's saying there is basically, this is what she's saying. She's saying that these people, these black men that are going online talking about they're going to get their passport and dip, haven't put any real effort into bettering the community. They haven't put any real effort into fixing the problem. They just want to run from it. And I would say that that's true of any person that dates out for that purpose, right? Or says that they're no longer a part of the black community, they're not part of the black community, whatever this is. I think that, and it's perfectly within your right. If that's what you want to do, by all means, do it. Because the way I see it, as someone who is B1, okay, and if you don't know what B1 is, it means black first, right? I put my issues as a black person before my issues as a woman. I'm B1 all day. Been B1 for a while now. I have no interest in leaving the black community for any reason. I have no interest on giving up on us. I have a vested interest in us getting our stuff together. I was about to cuss. I have a vested interest in us getting our stuff together because regardless of what anybody says or whatever is said, I'm going to have black children. I want a better future for them. And that requires that I put in work as an adult to make things better for future black children, my future black children, my future black grandchildren. That involves putting in the work. So I'm not going to run away from the problem. Anyone that wants to run away from the problems, don't really care about what happens with the black community. They just want to divest of themselves. She's so stupid, Reyes. Anyone that wants to divest themselves from the black community, whether you're a man or a woman, by all means, there's the door. See yourself out. Because your negative energy, your cowardice, your desire to give up is unneeded over here, right? And I love to relate it to the Haitian Revolution because I think that was a very powerful movement, regardless of how things ended up in today's standards or what, where Haiti is at currently. The Haitian Revolution was a very powerful moment, and I think we need to study that a lot more because they did not play. If you know anything about Haitian Revolution, they did not play. If you were not on board with the Haitian people and their plight, they did away with you. You were not allowed to stay and corrupt. You were not allowed to stay and disrupt. You were not allowed to stay and cause problems to disrupt the movement. It was either you're with us or you ain't with nothing, because they was offing folks. Okay. And now I'm not gonna get as radicalized as to say we need to start offing people. Absolutely not. But ostracizing folks, I'm all good with that. All good every day, all day. Right? So if you're a black man or a black woman that has told themselves or told everybody that they're divested from the black community, by all means, have a nice day. Don't come back because you're not welcome. You're not welcome here. Okay? Those of us who want to fix the problems and build wealth within our community, we're going to stay 10 toes down for us. We're going to put in the work. We're going to do what we got to do for us. Okay? Y'all can go over there, do whatever it is you want to do, build up somebody else's community. By all means, go do you. So I will agree that anyone doing that, trying to leave the black community and all that stuff, it is cowardly, but it is within your right to be a coward. I don't care. I would rather you go be a coward with your doubts and all that stuff over there. And then those of us who are B1, we will handle us. Okay, we will take care of us. We will uplift us. We will fix the wealth problem for us. Just don't bring your sorry tail back once we've created some solutions to these problems that you want to buddy with us after you ran. Just don't do that. Once you divest, stay divested. Okay, once you remove yourself from the black community, stay removed. Okay? And those of us that do care, that want things to be better, that see a future for our children, we're going to stick here and do the work. And that, like I said, that goes for men and women. Period.
But it's our fault. We were subjected, we were forced to adapt to this Western culture. And if men are upset about how their women are behaving, you got to take some ownership regarding that. I mean, we didn't come here willingly. It's a woman's job to protect a man emotionally, and it's a man's job to protect a woman physically. How we end up here. This is not even our land. This is not our culture. We were forced to adapt to a new culture. We were forced to forget who we are. We were forced to forget where we came from. So how is this our fault? But of course, the men, they don't want to take accountability. They want to get on a boat and escape the damage that they have created, escape the damage that they have caused. And this is my thing. This is why I'm really not bothered by none of this stuff. Do you really think God will favor you?
I really hate when people bring up religion. Do you think God will favor you? First of all, well, you know what? No. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to do it. I'm not about to go on a rant about religion and God and all that stuff. I'm going to save that for a whole other video. Okay, one of these days I'm going to come here and I'm going to chop it up with y'all about my views on religion and God and all that stuff. I'm telling you, one of these days I will do it. And understand, I've been feeling this way since I was in the 6th grade. So 11, 12 years old. And your girl's turning 30 this year. So I've been feeling this way about religion and things like that. I do not like when people bring up religion in any conversation, because it's like not everybody subscribes to a religion. Not everybody, like, that's a non-argument for me. It's really a non-argument for me. And you know, when it comes to these kind of conversations about, you know, people taking accountability for their role in these conversations, when it comes to that accountability, you know, I like to keep that same energy across the board. We can't put that all on men, just like we can't put that all on women. And certain things were very difficult situations. And also, there's a lot of psychological warfare. Me and Justin were talking about this earlier today. He brought this up. There was a lot of psychological warfare that happened during that time of enslavement and all of that. So we have to kind of give each other grace. You know, a lot of divestors, they like to go and, you know, point to slavery and say, well, y'all were supposed to protect us and you didn't. So why should we trust you? Y'all were supposed to protect us from this. Y'all didn't do it. So why should we trust you? And I understand from a logical perspective bringing up patterns in behavior, right? Because at first, earlier today, you know, I had told Justin, I was like, you know, it's not fair for them to keep bringing up slavery, because none of us were alive during slavery, at least not that form of slavery. There is slavery happening still in the world and other countries and things like that. But the slavery that is in question, you know, transatlantic slavery, we can't, I was telling Justin, I was like, we can't keep bringing that up and stuff like that. But then he led me, that is one smart man. He led me to literally eat my own words. Because it got me to a point where it was like, okay, well, there is a point to be said about talking about a pattern in behavior. Okay? So if you're going to bring up, you know, slavery, you bring up Jim Crow, you bring up all these different things, and you're highlighting a pattern in behavior of not being protected, then it technically is a fair conversation to have. Because at first I was like, that's not fair. to put that on black men as a whole. It's not fair because none of us were alive back then. But if we're highlighting a system or a pattern in behavior that seems to still happen to this day, then I guess it is a fair point to bring up. But with that, you also have to bring up the psychological warfare that was happening amongst us and our people and things like that. So, I honestly, I wish we would approach these conversations with more empathy. Okay? Instead of sitting here and being upset with our men for not protecting us how we feel like we should have been protected, there needs to be a level of empathy for what our men were going through, the psychological warfare that was placed upon them that they have to fight through. We can look at that and be empathetic towards them having to deal with that. Just as the same as I feel like black men need to be empathetic to us as black women for feeling unprotected. You know what I mean? If you've been unprotected as a black woman your whole life, of course you're going to have that hurt there. And now I'm not saying that you should be casting that hurt upon everyone, but there has to be some empathy there for that being your lived experience. Because once you have empathy, you can begin the healing process. You can help someone begin the healing process. But if you continue to invalidate different folks' experiences and, just point the finger at them for being wrong all the time, there's no growth. There's no healing that's going to actually take place in a situation that hostile. So I really feel like when we have these conversations and you bring up how black women feel unprotected, there needs to be a level of empathy for feeling unprotected. And there has to be a level of empathy for black men not being in a position to protect based on whatever, stimuli or whatever is happening. So I really just wish that we would talk to each other with more empathy and understanding. Because at that point, then we can heal. At that point, we can make our men strong enough to fight back. Our women strong enough to stick by our men. We can grow together and be better together, but we can't do that if we're constantly, well, you did this, well, no, you did that. It's not going to go anywhere, right? We need to be more empathetic towards each other. So I think that's something that hopefully Yanni will come to a place in her life where she'll have some empathy for what it is that black men have to deal with and why these situations are the way they are. And then hopefully, people on the other side of the aisle that, just want to point the finger at black women and talk about how we're just so terrible and things like that, have some empathy for why that is the way it is. Because once we have that empathy, we can grow and be better. Period.
Seriously, it's a real question. Because I be seeing people do the fear-mongering stuff. Like, I saw this video of elites creating bonkers. You can't escape fate. You just can't. You actually got to correct. You can't escape it, though. You can't escape death.
I don't think y'all understand how far social media traveled.
You stupid.
Y'all know it's worldwide, right?
Yep.
Y'all understand, and when stuff get on TikTok,
I just gotta mention this. I hate those little sound effects that everyone be having in their videos. It's like every other word is a yup, yeah, ding. I hate that. It's like, I just want to hear you talk. Just say, every now and again, it's okay to add a little clap in there or a sound effect. But when it's so rapid like that, it's like, bruh, you taking me out the video. I hate when they do that. I hate when content creators do that. Yup, ding. All these little sound effects in the middle of a sentence. I hate that. I'm sorry.
on Twitter, when stuff get on Instagram, when stuff get on Facebook, when stuff get on YouTube, y'all do understand that the whole work that is distributed. People, they log on. And the image of black women is
pathetic. Bruh.
the image of black women, the appearance value of black women is horrendous. And y'all know that. You know that the image and the appearance value.
She has a very old mindset where y'all know how it was back in the day where Black people had it hard. We all had to be our best. We all had to perform our best. We all had to be Black excellence because when we did enter white spaces, right, we represented one another. But we're moving to a more individual type of culture. So there's not that many people out here that are stereotyping or judging people based off of a group.
That's not true. It still happens. It definitely does still happen, where you get based on what the group does, right? That's not true. Okay, hopefully we'll get to a day where everyone can be judged on their individual behaviors and things like that. But best believe folks still gets followed around in the store just because you're Black. Folks still get followed down the street driving because you're driving while Black. It still happens. So that's not entirely true. Okay, that's not entirely true. We still are judged upon the actions of everybody else. But what Crimson Cure is saying as far as like the image of Black women, if we're being honest, the image of Black people in general is trashed. Black Americans is trashed, right? It's not just Black women out here looking crazy. Black men look crazy too on the internet. We collectively look crazy on the internet, especially when we keep having these conversations where we're putting each other down. You know, when you look at other communities having these conversations, it's a very small sector of white men talking crazy about white women talking crazy about white men. Very small. But it seems like a majority of our content is about that. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And it makes us look weak as a people. Right? It makes us look weak as a people. We're easy pickings. Right? They see us as weak. They see Black men as weak. They see Black women as weak. They see us all as weak and undesirable for that very reason. Right? And so our image as Black Americans, we need to work on that. And we also need to gatekeep it. Because this is kind of off topic a little bit, but not really. You have a lot of people that are from other countries that look Black because they're a different type of Black or whatever. Maybe they're Islander Black. Maybe they're African Black. Maybe they're, you know, whatever kind of Black they come over to America and they act ratchet as hell. And then that image is put upon Black Americans, not, you know, Black Islanders, not Black Africans. It's put on us because, you know, maybe they're second generation immigrant and they out here moving mad, right? They out here moving crazy as hell. And that behavior gets ultimately put on Black Americans. And, you know, we need to gatekeep that a lot more, right? When you see people like Kodak Black out here moving crazy, we need to make sure we're making that distinction. He ain't foundational Black American. He ain't one of us, right? Put his accomplishments and his downfalls on him and his culture, not us. Keep that energy, right? If you're gonna celebrate them when they do spectacular things, hold that L when they do messed up things as well. Don't just dump all your, you know, just don't dump all your BS onto Black Americans, right? So that's something we should be gatekeeping a lot more, because that would help our image a lot more, because a lot of these Black people from other countries, they put their worst on us. That way their image isn't corrupted. They could always just say, oh, it's just them Black Americans. Where really it's a lot of them from foreign countries or islands coming over here acting crazy. But then we got to hold the bag as Black Americans. So that's something we could do is Black Americans, is gatekeep that. So we're not holding everybody else's baggage and it's disrupting our image.
People are now judging you based off of how you show up for yourself. That's an outdated mindset. Very, very outdated. Very, very outdated. So especially when it comes to millennials, Gen Z, and stuff like that, that's the boomer mentality is, oh, okay, we all gonna judge them the same because they're black. People are not really doing that anymore because the people that are taking the leadership roles now are millennials, not boomers. So I think it's just an outdated way of thinking. You see this a lot within the modest, purity, Christian, religious woman culture, and it's just like a lot of people are becoming more spiritual these days, and because of that, it's like it's more freedom to be and to think and to be an individual. So I don't really 100% agree with that. Even the new Christians, the younger Christians and things like that, they have their religion on all of us. It's just not fair, and a lot of people are not doing that anymore.
Like I said, that's not true. It still happens. It still happens as more than she's willing to admit. It definitely does still happen, especially you go to other countries. Especially you go to other countries, they will assume a bunch of BS about you just because of how you look.
Behind her opinions, it does not align with the numbers that are out here that we are reading. Let's continue.
Of the thotting, the hoeing, the promiscuity, the misandry is one of the biggest ones. These other men from any other culture, whether you're going Asian, whether you're going European, whether you're going wherever you're trying to go, Polynesian, wherever, Mexican, wherever you're trying to go, even African, wherever you're actually trying to go, these men have seen you and made a judgment call on the entire scope of American Black women. And they have surmised that we are all hoes, that we like getting ran through, that we listen to crazy music, that we think it's normal to have children out of wedlock. We think it's normal to not have men in our family. We think it's normal to not listen to men. We think it's normal to hate men. We think it's normal to talk down on, specifically on Black men, no matter what his relation is to us, whether he's our son, our brother, our uncle, our father, our...
You guys, my issue with her making these statements is almost as if she believes them. You know what's crazy is when I started my platform years ago and I started doing commentary, a lot of people stereotyped me, Black people. They assumed I had kids, don't have none. They assumed that I was loose, wasn't having sex. I was a virgin until I was 27 with this platform, and I started this platform at 19. They assumed that I didn't have a father. They made all of these assumptions about me, and it's crazy. Because just because people make assumptions about you doesn't mean that it's true. But she's stating these things as
The contradiction, right? The contradiction. You just said that that's not happening, but you're just admitting that that's exactly what happened to you. You were stereotyped. So yes, it does still happen. To your own admission, it does still happen.
as if they're facts. And then you have to wonder the projection that she has, right, in her mind when she sees Black women, right, are the same projections that could be used against her. This is why I say things like Black women have the ability to harm other Black women simply by how they think. Her projections got her out here believing in the stereotypes that were created, which is crazy. I don't get that. So be careful, y'all. Like be careful, because that way of thinking is very, very harmful. It's very harmful. I don't think we should project stereotypes on other Black people. I think that's dangerous. That's what white supremacy does. So why would we copy what white supremacy does to us? That doesn't make sense.
that is a fair point. Okay, there's a fair point, and there's a difference. There's a difference between calling out a bad behavior for the purpose of trying to fix the behavior versus, just casting everyone under the same blanket, saying this is how black women are, this is how black men are, this is how da 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 da. I have no issue with black women and black men calling out bad behavior, right? I have no issue with that. I've done it on my channel, right? I have no issue with that. And, but if we do move around as if most black people are like this, most black people are like that, first of all, it's lazy. It's lazy when you generalize like that. Anybody generalizes like that, it's laziness. And it's unproductive. It's unproductive to do that. Deal with people on an individual level. Excuse me. Deal with people on an individual level. You come across somebody that's moving mad like that, talk to them directly, right? We get nowhere when we try to cast these things over everybody. We need to focus on the people that need to get some act right. Okay? We need to focus on those people as opposed to casting these long, big ass blankets over everybody and then holding back the people that really aren't moving like that. Right? You cast this big blanket over the whole community. The people that don't need the blanket are still being tugged back by that same blanket. Right? Deal with the people that are having those issues. Put the blanket on those people individually and give them the act right that they need so that they can move better.
So that is crazy. But let's continue. I have fought every stereotype that is truly out here. Honestly, as a black woman, and it's weird that at the end of the day, with me fighting those stereotypes, they're still placed on me, regardless. It doesn't matter. So the same stereotypes that she's creating and placing on black women are the very stereotypes that are placed on black men. It's very weird.
Grandfather, the co-worker, the whoever he is, we find it to be acceptable in black culture to talk crazy and talk greasy to and about black men to their faces. We think it's acceptable to harm them physically when they don't do what we want them to do. We think it's acceptable to.
I don't know who Aura is. What's up, Blackhead? I think maybe YouTube suppressed this comment because you have the word feminist in it. But I see it. I see your comments. I like Twitch it. Okay? I gotta do a little nifty work to get it going, but I like Twitch it because I can pull up all these comments. I have Arrayus. Arrayus is more pro-woman than most radical. Okay. Okay, Blackhead. I'm thinking he bringing up somebody else, an actual woman and all this stuff, or somebody else. And he over here talking about Arrayus. Okay.
To slander them. We think it's acceptable to talk crazy publicly about them, talk about their shortcomings, whether real or made up. And these other men actually see black women as degenerates. They see black women as disrespectful. They see black women as disloyal. They see black women as dishonorable. And they see that black women are all of these things to the men that actually hold up their community that they're in.
Now, wouldn't they see black men the same way? If black men are online talking crazy about their women, uplifting other women, and that's not to say all black men do that, but these people that are online profiting off of this dysfunction within the community, they look crazy too. We collectively look crazy, right? So the disrespect from both sides makes us look crazy as a community, and nobody takes us seriously. So, and see, you get away with being able to say that whataboutism when it comes to content creators like that, because, you know, I don't think I've ever heard her check black men for any reason. Maybe it's not in her culture because, you know, she's Muslim to not do that. And that's fine, I guess, you know, to each his own. But when it comes to the image of black people, we collectively mess it up by talking grimy about each other online. You know? The same way that everyone sees black women disrespecting black men, they also see black men disrespecting black women. This is an issue for all of us. It's literally an issue for all of us. It's not that black women are the only ones out here looking crazy and black men look like angels. They don't. You go to a lot of these places, they still treat you like you're a criminal or a basketball player. They'll treat you. Man, I was in China. They treated black men either one or two ways. You got treated like a basketball player or you got treated like a criminal. Which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But that's what happens when we allow our image to be corrupted to such a point, right? And then we get online and champion those same stereotypes. It's to the point I forget who made this quote. I wish I remember her name. But she basically, and I'm gonna try to sum it up. She basically said, you know, you get to a point where, damn, I really wish I had the quote in front of me because it is very, very deep. You destroy a community so much to the point where they will destroy themselves. It's something along those lines. That's essentially what you see happening here. If anyone knows the quote that I'm referring to, it'd be awesome if you post it up. But basically it was, you know, you destroy a community to the point where you don't even have to do anything anymore. They destroy themselves. And that's the situation we found ourselves in as black people, black Americans.
You can't word what she said any better. See, and this is why I feel for Courtney Michelle, but you gotta respect the life.
Again, this brother down here in the corner, this is trauma bonding for him. He feels heard when it comes to his experiences. He feels seen when it comes to his experiences. And he's trauma bonding with the men in his comment section and the men that are on his platform. I'm done with that, y'all. I am not doing this shit in 2023. It's a new year. You either are doing the work or you're not. And spiritually, I've been led to leave people behind because I can't remain stuck in a phase that I have outgrown. I can't. This man in the corner should be in therapy, working out his issues and experiences that he has gone through in his life. Because I'm not here to invalidate. I don't know what that man has gone through. I have no idea. But clearly he has gone through some things to where he can agree with what she's saying. So he has had experiences with women that make him believe that everything she's saying is 100% true for all black women, as if he has met all black women.
And that's the part, right? That's the part, you know, and that's what gets exploited by content creators. The fact that a lot of us have been through so much trauma and hurt and have not gotten help for it, that we would rather than helping ourselves, getting therapy or working on ourselves or taking some alone time or healing, whatever that may look like, rather than doing that, we'll get online and start communicating with other people that have been hurt, right? Other people that have been hurt and traumatized, and then sitting over there, and that's the perfect term. It is trauma bonding. It's trauma bonding, period. You know? When women get online and they talk about how, you know, their baby fathers are this way, their baby fathers are that way, and they're all in a community of baby mamas, and they're talking about their trials and tribulations, they're trauma bonding. There's really no other way to look at it. That's exactly what it is. And I'm I'm not going to look to a person that is traumatized and broken thinking that I'm going to be able to fix myself emotionally and mentally by interacting with somebody that is also emotionally and mentally broken. How do you expect to better yourself when you surround yourself with other broken people? Okay? All you end up doing is comparing scars. Comparing scars, finding more ways to be defensive, finding more ways to scapegoat accountability. That's what happens when you're a broken person and you surround yourself with other broken people. It's exploitive and it's dangerous because you'll find yourself falling deeper and deeper into that hole of bitterness, right? Of bitterness, because you have to be a bitter person to cast a blanket over an entire group of people. That only comes if you're a bitter individual. You know? Perfect example. I've been in an abusive relationship, both emotionally, mentally, and physically. Okay? I've been in an abusive relationship. And, you know, some of that trauma that I had from that relationship is still being worked out. Some of that trauma that I had in that relationship, you know, Justin has helped me work through it. Okay? But one thing that I did not allow for myself was to become bitter. I told myself straight up, you know, whatever this man had done to me is on him and on me for allowing it. Those are the people that I hold accountable for the abusive relationship that I was in. Right? I hold the accountability on that. I don't put that accountability on all black men. I didn't leave that relationship and being like, well, this black man abused me, took advantage of me, so therefore black men are like this. That's what you do when you're bitter. And that's one thing that I told myself I never wanted to be, was bitter. Because you can't build nothing if you're a bitter individual. That's like somebody going into business with someone, right? You go into business with someone and they burn you. You know, they burn you, they run off with your money, or they do something else that's shady, and they leave you holding the bag. And then you're a business person, you like starting business, that's what you like to do. But now you're unable to form business relationships with folks because you're too busy being bitter about what that other person did to you and your business and how they left you holding the bag. Are you going to be a successful business person doing that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You learn from the situation. By all means, you learn from the situation. You peep game. You recognize certain characteristics and things that you could look out for when you're vetting individuals, right? There's certain characteristics that I now look out for, or I was looking out for after I got out of that abusive relationship. There were characteristics that I was looking out for. But not once did I say, well, all black men are like this, and all black men are abusive, and all black men are like this. If I had done that, that would have been a bitter bee mentality. And that would have closed me off from really being able to heal. Right? So people who do that, it's a place of bitterness, and they will never be able to strive and grow and reach their full potential until they let go of that bitterness, because they're always going to operate from a place of trauma. They're always going to operate from a place of defensiveness. They're always going to operate from a place of victim mentality because of that bitterness. And I hate to have to keep saying this because everyone, well, what about the women? Women too. People in general. If you're a bitter person, you're not going to move in your best interest. You're going to miss out on so many opportunities because you were being bitter, period. Right? And so we need to come to a place where we understand that a lot of bitter people hold each other back. They hold other bitter people back, and they hold themselves back. And they try to convince other people to be bitter. Right? People that may not have that bitterness within their soul, they see enough of this type of content and they become bitter. Even if that wasn't their lived experience, they become bitter because they keep seeing the same type of stimuli, the same bitter conversations over and over again. They become bitter themselves. And we really need to try to avoid that at all costs, because we can't grow with that. That's like desolate soil. You know, you can't grow nothing in sand like that. It'd be hard pressed to grow something in sand, you know, or grow something in a place where there's been chemical damage to the soil. The soil is infertile. You can't do nothing with the soil. You're going to be hard pressed to grow something in some bitter soil.
So that's a man that could never lead me, simply being he's wounded. How can a masculine, wounded man lead me? He can't. He can't. First of all, he can't even see clearly. He can't think clearly. He doesn't have a balanced perception. He thinks every black woman that he has never met, by the way, is the same. He thinks every Western woman is the same. That is a man that does not have leadership qualities. So he couldn't lead me. I'm sorry. That's crazy. I need a man that is going to actually have foresight, that can actually look beyond his own or his past experiences. That is a man of true leadership. But if he can't look past his past experiences, he does not have foresight. He can't even see what's to come. And that's the issue with these conversations. We so focused on these past, like the men in our community is so focused on passport bros because of the hurt pain that they have experienced. They're not even seeing what's to come. Like a lot of I'm gonna be real with y'all. A lot of them gonna get over to whatever country they going to. They're not even gonna be able to get access to their money, or if they are able to get access to their money, because the US dollar has collapsed, they don't have no money. So, but we're going to keep having these conversations because it's offering some type of improvement within our community. It's not even preparing us for what's really to come within the coming months.
Sorry, I was doing so good this whole time of muting and unmuting myself. I forgot to do it that one time. I'm so sorry. I I'm gonna, wow. Dang, I hope I didn't say too much and missed it. Okay, so if you want to watch the rest of her video, by all means go to her channel and watch it. I'm not gonna react to the whole video. It's damn near 2 hours long. I'm gonna react to that last little point and then we're gonna get up out of here. I need to go handle some stuff and prepare for the next stream, which I don't know if I want to do the other stream that I was planning on doing. Because I was planning on doing this stream and then doing a stream by Andrew Tate, and then after that possibly doing a gaming stream, play a little Fortnite. But I might just skip to the Fortnite stream and then do the other one maybe tomorrow. Okay. But if you want to see the rest of the video, by all means, go over to her channel and check it out. So I am going to react to that last point. RZA, the whole thing as far as like the US dollar not being strong is that right now the US dollar is on shaky ground. because all these other countries are starting to, and this is something that Justin had, we talked about this morning. A lot of countries are starting to trade in Chinese yuan and not the US dollar. Slowly but surely, these different countries are hopping on board. And if enough countries, major countries, go ahead and stop trading in US dollar, our dollar will be worthless if enough countries do that. And that's not a guarantee that that's going to happen, but it is a possibility, right? If all these other countries stop, trading with US dollar bills, then our dollar will be worthless and we'll have to rebuild, right? So that is a possibility. So she does have a valid point with that one. But it depends. It depends on how things go from this point on. Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate the super sticker. Every time y'all do that, it's just so sweet to me. Thank you so much, Endure. You're going to be the sponsor for the stream for sending me this $19.99. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. That y'all work hard for y'all money. And I appreciate that, you want to spend a little bit of it with me. I really do appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. But I am going to react to that. Justin! Oh my God. I got 2 sponsors for the stream. Thank you, Endure. And then thank you, Justin. He over here taking care of me. Thank you so much. 2 hours. Why so short? First of all, blockhead. I am not certain content creators that can stream for 20 hours. Okay? I am a pregnant woman. I cannot sit in this chair for no 20 hours. What I can do is finish out this stream, finish the conversation that we're having, get up, move around, do what I gotta do, come back and play some Fortnite in a couple hours. And we'll play Fortnite for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. But I can't do them 20-hour streams that folks be doing. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Endure. Thank you so much, Justin. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. We have 2 sponsors for the stream. Okay, Endure and Justin. Thank y'all so much. But I did want to react. Dang, pregnancy brain. Pregnancy brain is a mofo, because I don't even remember what she said that I wanted to react to. Y'all done got me to a place where I don't even remember what she said. She said something. Let me rewind, okay? Because if I hear some key words, I'll understand what I need to say.
That is a man that does not have.
Oh, okay. That's all I need to hear. And I remember. Yeah, we were talking about the U.S. dollar. Yeah, I was just reacting to what you were saying as far as that goes. So, U.S. dollar is on shaky ground if other countries start trading in Chinese yuan over the U.S. dollar. We'll be in a very sticky situation if that happens. But it's not, I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't know. One reaction request. I don't know what that means. But yes, that is a possibility and we need to prepare ourselves for it. But what I do also want to talk about is this concept of leadership, right? Because you hear this a lot from women. They'll talk about how, black men can't lead us, or, they can't lead us, or things like that. Or if you're being more specific and you're listening to a man talk and he says certain things, or his whole content is about certain complaining about what black women do or what black women are not doing. I have to agree. I have to agree. If you're operating from a place of pain, if you're operating from a place of bitterness, then you can't expect someone to trust you to be a leader, right? Because it's just like the whole thing with the businessman. He was burned by a previous business relationship, And now this person is paranoid, or this person is moving crazy or not making good decisions because of what happened in the past, and they're not able to move past it. How can I trust you as an investor? How can I trust you to invest my money into you when you're operating from a place of bitterness, you're operating from a place of paranoia, you're operating from a place of hurt? You know what I mean? And I was explaining this to Justin earlier today. It becomes a what happened first, the chicken or the egg, right? I'm curious. It's curious to me, you know, as far as like when men operate a certain way, and then they have women respond to them saying that they wouldn't follow their leadership because of how they are. I wonder, is it a situation where it was like, where it was like you had this mentality, this bitterness, this indecisiveness, or this emotional trauma situation going on, and you brought that to women, and then they looked at you like, I can't rock with you, I don't want to be led by a man that's like that, and then it just repeats itself? Or were you in a situation where you dealt with a woman that didn't respect your authority, or didn't do this or didn't do that, and you felt like your leadership was disrespected, and so now you're in a place where, you know, you're operating from trauma, you're operating from all this, that, and the third, and and now women are seeing you as unable to lead. You know, I think that's a fair statement. I wouldn't want to deal with somebody that is so traumatized, you know, especially if you're looking for a man to be a leader. I can't allow, you know, if you're a woman that has their stuff together, that's on point, you know, you carry yourself a certain way, you know how to be respectful, you know how to take care of the man in your life, you know how to do all these things, and you're looking for a man to lead and guide your household, to imprint upon your children, all of these things. Sandra, we know you go straight to China when you I don't know if I'm going back to China. I don't know about that one, Chief. But, you know, let me just put it this way. Maybe I'll be more clear if I put it this way. If I see a man online that is constantly complaining about women and how women treat him and how women do this and women do that, and all he does is sit online and complain about women, I would not look at that man and say that's a good leader. Because what are you doing with your time? You're sitting online complaining. You're not building anything. You're not bettering yourself. You're not being a leader. You're literally online complaining and crying and whining, right? So I wouldn't want to be with a man that operates that way. I would much rather be with a man that, yes, maybe he's had some bad experiences, but rather than being traumatized by them, rather than moving from a place of hurt, he has healed himself from that and has learned and has become a better man because of it. And he's still strong, and he's not out here just complaining. He's out here making his life better. He's out here making himself better. He's out here preparing. He's doing all these things that really highlight a masculine quality man. He's out here putting in the work, not sitting online crying and complaining. I'm going to look at that man and be like, that's the type of man I want to have my children with. Because that type of man is going to teach our children to be strong. That type of man is going to teach our sons not to be sitting around crying all the time. It's one thing to work through your emotions. You could definitely do that. I'm not saying that men need to hold everything in. I'm not saying that. But you have to work through your traumas. You have to work through the things that you go through and get past them, so you're not holding all that baggage. And then you put that baggage onto your children. You put that baggage onto everyone that you deal with. Right? So, you know, oftentimes men in this space, they'll get upset when a woman says, well, you're not a leader. You're not exhibiting a leadership role anyway. So why would I submit to you? And that's a fair statement. If you're literally always online crying and complaining, that's not a masculine man. Why would someone submit to that behavior? You're not building anything. You're crying and complaining. Off camera, go heal yourself and come back ready to build something. Come back ready to show and improve. Then, when it comes to dealing with women, you have discernment about the women you deal with. You don't go out here dealing with no ratchet individual who doesn't respect you. You don't even give them the time of day. You let them keep it moving and only deal with the caliber of women that come with the territory that you're in, right? Deal with the type of women that are on the same page as you, have the same values as you. Deal with them and build something beautiful with them. Build family with them. Okay? And same thing, like I said, I keep that same energy. Women that are online talking greasy about men and talking about all these different things and promoting these negative behaviors. It's like, why would anyone want to deal with your broken ass? Why would anyone want to deal with you? And you carrying around all that bag lady, okay? We all need to just sit back. This is the homework. I want us all to go and listen to Bag Lady by Erykah Badu. Okay? We got a lot of bag ladies and bag mans walking around. Right? We need to learn how to let that ish go. Because, you know, you have a lot of women, they'll promote their baggage, their anger, their distrust online. And then they wonder why men that are of quality do not want to deal with them. It's because they look at you and they see a broken individual. And why would I, if I were a man, why would I want to put my child into a broken woman so that she can birth my child into brokenness? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would I accept the seed of a man that is so broken that he has to spend most of his time online complaining about women? Why would you do that? Let's just be logical here. And what we need to do is we need to come to a place where we can have conversations that make us uncomfortable. Because understand, as I'm growing and becoming a better woman, there have been so many conversations that me and Justin have had that have made me so uncomfortable with myself, that have made me feel uncomfortable in my own skin. And I had to look at myself in the mirror and see myself for who I am. And it's not always a beautiful sight to see. And it's uncomfortable. It's scary. And I've ran from it at times. But it's all about getting to a place where you no longer run from seeing yourself. You no longer run from dealing with your personal baggage and your trauma. Because understand, if something is making you feel uncomfortable, that might be a sign of growth. Right? For example, as y'all know, I'm pregnant. My belly sometimes feels very uncomfortable because my skin is literally stretching and growing to accommodate our little baby girl. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. We got to stop running from uncomfortable conversations. And whenever we get into these conversations that make us feel personally attacked, instead of being defensive and pointing the finger, well, what about you? Or how dare you judge me when you're like this? Instead of doing all that defensive BS, recognize, when you said that, that made me feel very uncomfortable about maybe decisions I've made or how I've lived my life. Maybe that makes me uncomfortable. I need to explore that deeper. Why does that statement make me feel so uncomfortable? Is it because there's a truth in there that I don't want to acknowledge? Is it because maybe that's going to paint me as possibly being the villain in a certain situation? Because that's something that we as people just hate to do. We hate to admit that we've been a villain. We always want to be the victor or the victim. We never want to admit that in certain situations we have been a villain and we were wrong. We don't want to admit that. So we'll run. We'll girl, this ain't school. Okay, Blackhead. I digress. But I'm just saying, we need to get to a place where when you hear something that makes you feel uncomfortable about yourself, rather than being defensive and emotional about it, really ask yourself, why does that make me so uncomfortable? And explore that. And really get to the root of it, because that could be an area of growth for you. Just like these conversations me and Justin have had that have been very uncomfortable and difficult, they have been opportunities for me to grow and learn more about myself so that I'm not out here causing hurts and pain to someone that I love. Right? I'm not out here causing hurt and pain to others because I'm dealing with my traumas. I'm dealing with it. I'm doing the work. And it is scary. I can totally empathize with it being a terrifying experience. I understand because I've ran away from those conversations before. I have. But at some point in time, you have to stop being so afraid of seeing yourself for who you are. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay? But I think I beat that horse all the way dead. I think I went in. Let me see what GC talk about. He said this ties into the convo, especially in the comments. And he sent me a link. I wonder if I click the link, is that going to mess up the live stream? I'm scared to click the link. Okay, look, if the link does something to OBS, I'm sorry. The stream will I'll just have to do something, I don't know. But make a community post, I don't know. But I'm going to press this link because I trust GC. I know he's not, sending me no crazy stuff. I know it's an Instagram link. Are you sure you're ready to leave YouTube? Oh, okay. Let me see. I can't hear. What's up, Gabby? Hey, sis. Oh, they're married. Oh. GC, I don't know why you sent that to me. GC, I don't know why you sent that to me. It's beautiful, but I don't know. This ties into the convo, especially in the comments. I don't understand. Oh, 18th letter. I'm not on StreamYard anymore. I moved to OBS and I haven't figured out how to do call-ins yet from OBS. Oh, bullish. I don't know how to. I don't know. I don't think they have that function on here, or I have to do some kind of doohickey. I just recently figured out how to pull up comments onto the screen. So as far as doing call-ins, that's something I have to work towards figuring out how to do while I'm on OBS, because I'm not using StreamYard right now. We're moving away from, we moved away from StreamYard for several reasons. OBS has more ability to like customize the stream a lot better. It's a lot smoother because OBS is actually on the computer as opposed to StreamYard where you got to be online. You got to go to a website and... Oh, okay. All right, so you said because the comments are... Okay. Let me see. This don't work for us black women. They think we deserve the struggle and prove love. They are such a cute couple. It's okay when non-black women do it. Love at first sight does exist, but marriage after a few months, yeah, that's a no. I don't know. Okay, so apparently, I don't know how to share the clip, but basically it was a clip of, well, you guys can can click the link and see it for yourself. But I guess it's a non-black woman, and she's talking to this black man, and they have a little conversation. It turns out they end up getting married and having a cute little wedding. My gut response wasn't disgust because the woman's not black. I thought it was cute. You see my response when I saw it. I was like, oh, they got married. That's so cute. Like I said, I'm not bitter. I don't got no bitter energy. I'll be happy for people that get happy. Like, be happy. Go be happy, and I'll be happy for you. So I guess a lot of black women are mad at this. But what does that have to do with them? What does them finding love have to do with you as a black woman? That has nothing to do with you. That's their individual relationship. Nothing to do with you. It's not a diss at you. He didn't say not one thing about black women when he, that video, he said nothing about black women. Oh, black women, this is why I gotta go get with her. He didn't say anything like that, so I don't understand. I don't quite understand. I think what they did was cute. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can share it with y'all. Let me give me a second. I'm gonna try to see if I can. Maybe it's the browser. I'll just do that. And then give me a second. I'm still learning OBS. I'm still learning, so give me a second. I'm gonna see if this works. Oh, okay, it does. Okay. So y'all can see with me. See, I'm getting technologically savvy, Justin. Justin always clown me for being technologically slow, because I always got to ask him for help. But let me see. Can I click play on the actual browser? They look cute. They look cute. I don't understand what the problem is. Now they got married in 3 months. I mean, if that works for them, that works for them. I'm not going to sit over here and be upset with them for... Wait. I guess it won't let me show all the comments. But I'm not going to be upset with them finding love. Like, that's so silly to me. That's very silly to me. Let me get rid of this. I thought that was cute. Like, GC, you say, let me bring this back up so I can see this. They equate this to all black men, that black men towards black women are only good enough to date, smash, etc., but not to marry. Well, you can't put that on all black men. You really can't. Because my Facebook feed, and I don't have my Facebook public or anything. Well, it's public, but it's not. I don't put over here. I don't like, put my Facebook on my YouTube or whatever, because that's more for family and people I actually know in real life. And some people from YouTube have my Facebook, whatever. But on my Facebook timeline, I have nothing but a bunch of black people that I know personally getting married to each other, right? And having children with each other. So I don't That's not the reality that's not the reality that I see. People I went to college with, the black women that I went to college with, the black men that I went to college with or knew in high school and things like that, I'm seeing them get married and have children. Buying houses, going on cute family vacations. That's what I see on my timeline. I see a lot of black men committing to black women and black women committing to black men and having beautiful families and going on vacation, making cute little holiday pictures and posting it on Christmas and Thanksgiving. That's what I see on my timeline. So I can't relate to that. I can't relate to that. And that's not to say that everyone's timeline is the same. Not to say that the people that you, surround yourself with, yeah, vacations with double dates with other black couples too. I see a lot. I see a lot of that. I do. In my personal life. And that's one thing that I find very interesting is that I find a disconnect between what I see on the internet from people I don't know versus on the internet from people I do know. You know what I mean? If I look at like people I went to school with and people I know in real life or worked with or have come in contact with in my real life, like they've seen me in the flesh, I don't see these conversations playing out in my real life. I only really see them online with people I don't know. That's not to say that it's not true. That's not to say that, people aren't out here struggling to find relationships. I do think that there is a problem there that needs to be solved, but you're not going to solve it by sitting over here hating on this man and his wife and their pretty wedding. Like, you're not going to solve your problem hating on them, being bitter towards their relationship. Their relationship had nothing to do with you. Like, them getting married had not a damn thing to do with you. Okay? So, I don't understand why people get mad at that. Let me see. It's not just bitterness, Sandra. It's hatred. Some of these women hate black men. Look at how they laughed when Kobe got deleted with his daughter. He said anything negative. Black women. He never said anything negative about black women either. Yeah, I feel like the people that do that though, it has to be a small percentage of divestors out there that do that. Because it's just, I find it hard to believe that black women in mass feel that way. Just like I find it hard to believe that black men in mass feel that way about black women, this negative things about black women. I find that very hard to believe. Because at the end of the day, we still procreate with each other. We still do these things together. It still happens. It still happens. And I'm not going to cast a blanket over black women because the small subsect of black women are hateful. We can call them out individually, right? We can call them out individually. And I would say that anyone that is saying hateful things or celebrating the death of black men or the death of black children or the death of black women, anyone out here celebrating those things, I'm just curious as to what kind of job you have. Because please don't be my nurse and practitioner. Please don't be the person cooking my food. If you one of these people that hate black women, or if you one of these people that hate black men, don't be cooking me my food. Don't be serving me my plates. Don't be teaching my children. That's where I have more of my, that's where my mind goes to. These small subsect of people and whatever influence they may have over, whatever career they're in. That's what I have more concern with. As opposed to them just talking stupid online. I would be more concerned with finding out what they do in real life and making sure that they doing it far away from me. Let me see. You said I think underestimate the hatred. I'm assuming you mean in black women have for black men. Yeah, if I log off of the internet, and this is the point I'm trying to make, if I log off of the internet and I look at people in my real life, I look at people while I'm walking down the street, while I'm going to the grocery store, when I've met people, have conversations with people, that's not what I hear. I don't hear this mentality amongst the people that I interact with in my day-to-day life, be it random people or people that I have a reason to interact with, you know, be it family or we go to school together or whatever it is. It's, you know, and if you're seeing this in your personal life, like people you know in real life, not just on the internet from randoms, because we got to take into account that we don't know who these people are with these accounts, right? You could be reading a whole comment list and it could be little teenage white boys typing that stuff, typing all this anti-black BS. You never know. You never know who is behind these accounts. So we need to take this stuff with a little bit of grain of salt and always compare it to what you see in real life, right? Because there could be little white dudes with black profiles of black women and black men sitting over here, or Asian or whatever non-black, and they typing away and just starting drama, right? They sitting over here starting drama and talking greasy and just saying a bunch of things that they know is going to get everyone all hyped up. You never know who is behind these accounts until they put their face on the camera and they tie their face to their account by being online with their picture, and not just picture, they get on video chat. So that's why you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. You got to take it with a grain of salt. That's all I'm saying. You know, I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm not saying that it is true. I'm saying that we really need to think about what we're seeing in our real lives and comparing and contrasting it to what we see online, because online is a lot of fake stuff, a lot of fake bullish online, and there's a lot of people that will pretend to be somebody that they're not just to cause problems, you know, just to derail conversations, or just to have us looking at each other crazy. You know what I mean? So just take it with a grain of salt. That's all I'm saying. You can't be a city girl and mad because no one wants to marry you. That's true. Yeah. Let me see. GC says, I also seen in the comments that when it comes to black men and non-black women approaches him, paraphrasing, she gets the ring. But with a black woman, what you bring to the table? I mean, how do we know they didn't have that conversation? How do we know they didn't have that conversation, though, about what is being contributed, establishing role? You know what I mean? Because it's like, even when me and Justin, we were getting together, we had a lot of conversations about how we view raising children, how we view man and woman, the roles and things like that. And that's essentially having that conversation about what you bring to the table. So I think even that is a little like misguided, because it's like, how can you prove that there was no conversation to establish roles? You know what I mean? Just because it's not a blatant thing online where it's like a talking point doesn't mean it's not a point that has been talked about within their individual relationship. I'm sure that they've discussed their roles together and what she's going to do and what he's going to do and all of these different things. You know, it's just, I don't know. That seems a little weird to me. Like, non-black women faces half the hassle as much as black women when it comes to finding a black man. see more black relationships than I do interracial ones. So I don't know. I don't know. And plus, if here's my other thing, right? Why are we gonna get so worked up over people that don't want you? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna sit over here and be upset at black men that want to date out. Like, go date out. Be happy. Why be upset with people that don't want you? Let them go be free. That's not even a like, why am I gonna sit over here and be upset with somebody that don't want my ass, not being with my ass? Like, why? That just sounds stupid to me. Stop worrying about these men that actively go out of their way not to date black women, or their preference is not black women. Stop stressing over them, because they ain't for you in the first place. Why are you stressing over a man that's not for you? Just like I would be annoyed if I saw black men stressing over divestors. Like, why are you stressing over them? They don't want you. Let them go do what they do. And find people that are for you. Deal with them. A lot of Asian women shit on Asian men too and date white guys. I guess it's not just black people dealing with this. It's not just black people dealing with this, right? Maybe this is a conversation that everyone's having. It's just they're having it more behind the scenes and ours is put in the forefront. Let me see. Some white people have been pretending to be black or Asian, posting stupid stuff. So be careful. It's true. Yeah, you can't. You gotta take this internet stuff with a grain of salt, right? Like, you guys see my face. Clearly, I'm a black. I am light skinned, but I am a black woman. Okay, I'm a black woman through and through. B1, right? But I have a face behind what I say. You see who I am when I say it. That's not the case for everybody else that's online, especially people that don't have channels. They don't get on live stream. They don't share their face. You never know. You absolutely never know. Someone could literally get on YouTube and never show their face and convince you. Are you sure you're black? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm positive. Okay. Anyways, you could literally have somebody get online and build this whole channel off of telling you how magnificent their life is and how perfect their life is. Whole time they're lonely and alone, and they've just lied to you about a bunch of stuff. You have a lot of people online that will see a fancy car sitting in the parking lot, and they will take a picture next to somebody else's car and post it on Instagram, having y'all thinking that they was driving around that car whole time. They just started in the parking lot and took a picture with it. Ain't they car? They don't know who drives that car. They don't know who owns that car. They have no attachment to that car at all, but they saw a nice little Ferrari sitting in the parking lot, and they was like, ooh, I'm gonna take a picture with this Ferrari and I'll post it on my Instagram. They have no connection to that Ferrari. Not at all. So it's like, you can't trust this internet stuff. You really cannot trust that internet stuff. And see, that's what I was trying to say. The people that really do move like this, the people that really do speak hatred and, you know, want hurt to happen to the black women or black men, you know, I am curious as to what they do as a profession. And if their profession involves them being in a position of power over the same people that they talk greasy about, that's an area where I have concern, right? If you're like, let's say there's a divester online that is talking about how, you know, black women should abort their sons and black men, celebrating when black men die. I would not want that woman to be the kindergarten teacher of my little black son when I have one. Absolutely not. So I think that I wish that the internet had more accountability on long pause just saying. That's funny because I'm laughing. That's where the pause came from, because I be laughing. But I wish there was more accountability when people do speak hatred and wishing death and celebrating death and saying things like that. I wish that there was more accountability online for it. I can't, certain things I can't say because I don't want to be accused of promoting doxing, because I don't agree with doxing unless that person is a threat to society, in which case, there needs to be some protection from that person so they're not committing atrocities towards others. I feel like there should be some kind of protection there as far as the internet goes when it comes to people that say these kind of crazy, hateful things, and then you find out that they're nurses, or they cook food, or they have a position in society where they can really be harming a lot of people and going unchecked for the harm that they're causing. They fail to realize that they was already married when they made that video, and that video was a throwback to their wedding. Hey, I agree. Let me see. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, he's a scholar that dives into anti-black man misandry that is culturally ingrained in the black community. Yeah. There's a lot of hurt and pain and dysfunction within our community. There's a lot of it. And I think that, like I said earlier in the video, we need to get to a place where we empathize with each other. We don't invalidate each other's experiences. And we're able to have honest conversations and grow and heal. Let me see. Now, I've been in the space since 2008. The problem is far worse. There's a little typo there, but I know what you mean. Far worse than what you guys think. But like I said, you say you've been in the space. You mean like the internet? That's the question that I have. Because it could be the same people on the internet saying the same stuff over and over again. And I'm not saying that these things aren't true, that they don't happen. I'm not saying that. I don't want to be misunderstood. But I also don't want to exacerbate a problem and make it bigger than what it is. Because then you get to a standstill where nobody wants to even really have a conversation. Because it's like, if I'm talking to, if you're talking to the opposite sex, right? And all you hear is how the opposite sex is the problem. You're not going to grow. You're not going to get anywhere with that conversation. I think, and if this, these conversations have been happening since 2008 and there's been no change, there's been no improvement, then how successful are these conversations in the first place? If it's the same conversation since then, we should be moving on to bigger and better things. You know what I mean? We should be moving on to bigger and better things. So we need to also keep in mind our approach. How is these approaches working for us? And it don't seem like they work for us very well at all. Because we're still having the same conversations we were having in 2008. Even me as a person in 2008, I was in high school, I think. I was a freshman in high school. I don't have the same problems that I had when I was a freshman in high school. I done moved on to other things. So it's like we as a community, We need to really work on that, because we should not be talking about the same things that we're talking about since 2008 and prior to that. We need to be growing and moving on and being better and fixing the problems. But we can't fix the problems if we don't have empathy for one another. If we don't have empathy for what it is that black men go through, if we don't have empathy for what it is that black women go through, if we're constantly invalidating each other's experience because we've had different experiences, if we do that, we're never going to get anywhere. That's what our community needs, is empathy and understanding. From there, we can heal ourselves and we can actually start becoming productive citizens within our society. We can be more productive within our communities. We can be more productive just in general, not operating from a place of hurt, trauma, and pain. All right. Ooh. I've been talking for 3.5 hours. Y'all, I need to take a break. But, yeah, I'm going to move the Andrew Tate stream to tomorrow, because I can't do 3 streams in one day. And I'm going to set up a live stream for Fortnite. So if you want to play Fortnite with your girl, let me know. Well, I mean, just, be around for it. And we'll have some fun with that. I'll probably stream Fortnite around 9 o'clock. I think a little over an hour. I think I'll be good. You guys want to watch a movie in Justin's server? Oh yeah, you did say you wanted to watch a movie. We'll talk about that in the Discord. Different Discord. Okay. So many different servers, but we'll talk about that over there. But I do want to play a little bit of Fortnite tonight. I like Fortnite so much. I gave it so much fun. And I'm getting better at it. I'll never forget the day where Remy said I was playing better than he was. I was like, because Remy good at the game. Remy's really good at Fortnite. And so he said I was playing better than him that day. I was like, oh, gang. But with that being said, I really do appreciate my comment section. Like, everybody that be in the comments with my section is like, y'all are reasonable enough to actually have a conversation. I don't see anybody getting into their feelings. I don't see anybody, doing that whataboutism. And I really do appreciate that we're able to look at these conversations logically and objectively and not get in our feelings and start talking crazy to each other or disrespecting each other. So I really do appreciate that my audience is this way. And hopefully, as my audience continues to grow, we continue to invite people that are objective and are in a place where they're working through brokenness that they have, and they're open to having those conversations, and they're open to growing and open to the uncomfortable conversations, rather than having a community full of broken people that just want to argue and trauma bond and all of these things, right? So, I really do appreciate each and every one of y'all. And again, thank y'all so much. Thank you, Endure, and thank you, Justin, for sponsoring the stream. I truly do appreciate y'all. Y'all work hard for your money, and I appreciate that y'all want to, spend some of your money that you work so hard over here with me. Okay, I really do appreciate you. But thank y'all so much. And I'm going to get up out of here, take a little break, and then come back and do Fortnite around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? I think that's the time I'm on. I think it's Eastern Standard Time. I hate time zones. It's so stupid, but it is what it is. Anyways, thank y'all so much, and I will see y'all in a little bit. If you like this content, you already know what to do. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, and definitely subscribe. In the description box will be all of my sneaky links, including Instagram, Twitter, and the Sandraland Discord server. So go ahead and check that out in the description below. Thank you so much, and I will see you either with the next live stream or the next video. Bye!